Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and it is a soggy evening, at least for me, an afternoon where the NASCAR Xfinity Series is taking place here today at the Portland International Raceway. First race here in over 20 years for either of the top three series in NASCAR, and the live commentary from my hotel in St. Louis, because I'm here for the Gateway Race weekend, is starting to begin right now. I would have started this stream before the pace laps, but I literally just got my hotel room about 15-20 minutes ago. Was trying to set everything up. But we are live. We are ready to go here. So hopefully the internet connection is working perfectly fine. It seems to be right now. Hopefully the mic is working properly. So just let me know in the chat as soon as possible if you guys can hear properly. Just want to make sure, because I've got the mic volume up all the way so I don't have to scream into the microphone. So that way the people next door don't hear me as well. But thanks for everybody tuning in. As usual, like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, because the cars are already on the pace lap to get ready for a rain race today at the Portland International Raceway. This is going to be wild. New track. Because I've been on the road today, I did not get to actually study the track map with this being a new road course as well. Lights are actually out on the pace car right now, and I think they are about to go green this time by. On the front row, Anthony Alfredo and Austin Hill. Anthony Alfredo qualified on the pole earlier today. In row number 2 will be Daniel Hemrick, Sam Mayer, Jade Buford, Ty Gibbs in row 3, Sheldon Creed, Connor Mosack in row 4, Justin Allgaier, AJ Allmendinger in row 5. Row 6 will be Noah Gragson, Brett Moffitt, Landon Castle, Riley Herbst in row 7, Andy Lally, Jeremy Clements in row 8, Matt Jaskell and Parker Chase in row 9, Josh Berry, Scott Hecker round out the top 10 rows. In row 11 is Jeb Burton, Brandon Jones, Alex LeBay, Spencer Pumpley in row number 13. Row 12, excuse me. Row 13 is Myatt Snyder, Stephen Parsons, Ryan Sieg, Brandon Brown in row 14. Mason Filippi, I believe is his name, newcomer in the Xfinity Series for today, as well as Greg Galding will be in row 15. Row 16 is going to be Josh Williams and Darren Dilley. Joe Graff Jr., Bailey Curry in row 17. Row 18, J.J. Yaley, Patrick Emmerling, and Ryan Vargas and Jesse Iwuji will round out the field for today's Xfinity Series race. They will be going green this time by. The rain tires are already on. It is already raining at the start of the race. There's standing water in some corners. Pace car's going to pull the pit road, and we are about to get going today. Patrick Shadley, Terry Lewis, and others, welcome to the stream. It'll be Anthony Alfredo leading the field into the Geico restart zone. In over 20 years, NASCAR is back at Portland, and the green flag is going to be in the air to get this rain race started here this afternoon. Green flag as Alfredo will take the field down into the chicane into turn 1. One car trying to make it 3 wide, and that is going to be Daniel Hemrick in the 11 down to the inside. And a 3-wide pass for the lead for Hemrick, and the 23 locks the tires up into the first turn. Sam Mayer goes around. Alfredo has to go to a stop and go in turn 1, and we already have trouble on the opening lap. Mayer has damage to the left rear quarter panel as he had some contact, which led to a spin, and we continue to stay green. The 23 car is in the lead, but I think he's going to have to give up his position considering he had a stop and go. He did come to a complete stop and then get going again, but he's still in the lead, so I don't believe that he is going to be holding his position. As of right now, Sheldon Creed in the 2 car is in second, as somehow Hemrick must have spun his tires too. And now, speaking of spinning tires, the 18 car got a bit sideways. I think he was able to keep control, drifting in the rain. It's Connor Mosack. AJ Allmendinger coming to the start, actually on pit road, as he had clipped the grass on the pace lap, and he had a bunch of grass on the grill of that race car. So Allmendinger on pit road at the start of the race, giving up his starting spot, and he'll have to come from deep in the field. This is a 75-lap race, a bit longer for the Xfinity Series when it comes to road courses. Allmendinger is off of pit road. The grass is off the grill of the race car, and he can get going again. Sheldon Creed is the race leader. The 23 had to give up his position. And Ty Gibbs would be in second with the 23 car lined up in third. Daniel Hemrick in 4th place now, right behind Alfredo. Travis Glanton, the Tower enthusiast, welcome to the stream. And Sheldon Creed will lead lap 1 onto the main straightaway. That's where we saw Noah Gragson crash in practice yesterday. They had about 15 minutes of practice in the rain, and he was trying to miss a puddle on the front stretch, and while trying to steer clear of the puddle, he actually slid into the inside retaining wall towards the edge of pit road, the very end of it at least. Totaled that race car. Knocked the whole splitter off of it and the dampened grass as well. Pressure from Ty Gibbs on Sheldon Creed to kickstart lap number 2 into turns 4 and 5. Gibbs looking to the inside. Will Creed give him enough of a room? No, he will not. Creed's going to go a bit wide in the S's, though, and Gibbs is going to get around him, I believe. No, not quite. I think Gibbs was very patient there and allowed Creed to get back in line. Everybody trying to tiptoe around the racetrack with how damp it is right now. Seth Thomas, welcome to the stream. I am in a hotel room. I am going to the Gateway Cup race tomorrow. Yeah, this is not my normal setup, obviously. I don't know what those pictures are on the wall behind me either, to be completely honest. Ty Gibbs did take over the race lead on the second longest straightaway of the racetrack, and as they worked their way into the finishing corners, you can see where AJ Allmendinger went off the course. There's a bit of grass that is kicked back up onto the racetrack on that lower lane. And after Creed leads lap 1, it'll be Ty Gibbs leading lap number 2. I guess Allmendinger had a bit of a power slide and went a bit wide, again goes off the course. Now everybody's starting on rain tires for this race today. Nobody on slicks. Contact into turn 1 between Ty Gibbs and Sheldon Creed. Creed, I'm not sure if that was intentional, that he tried to make an aggressive move to try and take the lead, or if he just hydroplaned in the wet asphalt. But regardless of the fact, the contact, both cars keep control, and Gibbs is going to hold on to the lead out in front of the field. Not sure what the stage lengths are today. They're not showing it on the upper left-hand corner of the screen right now on Fox's leaderboard either, so... Oh, and that, okay, so a replay of what happened down in turn 1. Ty Gibbs had actually hit the curb on entry into turn 1, nearly spun the car out, and when he was sideways, that is why the 2 car had gotten into him. So yes, the 2 car was coming in much hotter, but it was actually because he was coming in, I guess, in the normal line, and the normal speed, and the normal pace, but Ty Gibbs made a mistake, slowed up so much in the middle of the corner, trying to catch the car from spinning out after a huge hop off the curbing, and that's what led to the contact, but again, Gibbs was able to hold on to the lead, and now he's about a half a second ahead of Creed. Jake Buford with an aggressive move right now to try and hang on to his position with Brandon Brown. Buford qualified in the top 10, but he has fallen way back off the very start of the race. Sam Mayer, who spun on the opening lap, is outside the top 15 as well. Buford back to 21st. And Allmendinger more than a minute off the lead in last after having to come to pit road at the very, very start of the race. Gregson started at the rear in a backup car, but is already up to 20th. Roaring through the back marker cars in the back of the field right now. Passing about half of them already. Gibbs really stretched that lead out on lap 3, now 2.4 seconds ahead of Creed. After he made that mistake in lap 1, he was gone from the word go immediately after that. And still pulling away from the 2 RCR cars behind him, followed by the Colleague Racing Chevrolet. Justin Allgaier is going to go for a spin. Not sure what area of the racetrack. It looks like turn 6. He is going to try to keep the wheels spinning to keep from getting stuck now. The rain is really coming down in Portland. Allgaier has spun in the grass in turn 6. No damage. He kept it off the wall. Works his way back on the racetrack, and it looks like he'll cycle in at about 22nd or 23rd. And back in line, it looks like right in between Josh Berry and Jade Buford. Just outside the top 20. I mean, my guess is he just might have locked the tires up and hydroplaned it, really. It didn't look like he was going in hot. So it actually looked like he had touched the curb and nobody else around him hit the curbing off the exit of turn 5. a little kink between turns 5 and 6. Allgaier had touched the curb. It was probably really wet, probably standing water on it. Got the left side tires on it, and it just slipped right around on him. He had no chance to catch that race car. Luckily, it did not slide all the way into the grass, through the grass into the wall. There is so much rain right now that even the cameras for Fox are having issues trying to pick up the cards. A lot of moisture and visibility, a huge issue right now, and a lot of the windshield wipers are not even really moving on a lot of the race cars mid-pack right now, and I'm not sure if that's an issue or if they're purposely not using them. Very interesting considering how much fog and visibility issues there seems to be on the racetrack right now. How many sets of rain tires do they have today? I have no clue. I was on the road. I did not get to look up my notes like I usually do before I do these live commentary races, so I didn't even know the starting lineup until I got here 20 minutes before the race started. Those are questions I usually can answer for you guys. I'm basically following the track map that Fox shows on the top of the screen from time to time, and then I have a track map on here as well that I'm kind of trying to memorize off of first glance that I checked during the pace laps before I hit go live to start the stream. That is the track map of today's race. So we've already seen 2 spins. 3 drivers have gone off course, including Allmendinger before the race started on the pace laps. Yeah, I would imagine they probably have plenty too. In-car cam on Ryan Sieg in the 39 right now. So each stage is going to be 25 laps today. 25, 25, 25. Not sure if they're going to have to pit under green flag conditions at all during those stages. It'll be interesting to see. Again, I've not raced in the Xfinity Series at this racetrack, so we really don't know exactly what the fuel window is. Ty Gibbs is cruising right now. The rain seems to be no problem for him, at least in the early going. We know we're going to at least get a couple restarts in today's race. Credit to these drivers. I know they had a lot of practice this weekend because it was a new racetrack, but considering it is a brand new track and they're racing in the rain, kind of similar to how COTA was last year. But I'd say even more of a challenge with only one series here this weekend, and that is the Xfinity Series, and a lot of these guys are really, really young. And at least for the first few laps, they are hanging on for all attempts and purposes and doing a great job of it. Sam Mayer's up to 13th after falling back to 20th, spinning on the opening lap in turn 1. Still never saw a replay of how exactly he got turned. There was damage on the right rear corner panel. I'm not sure if that sent him around or if he just hydroplaned into the first corner and then somebody had clipped the right rear trying to get around him as the whole field basically was splitting inside and outside of him. A couple cars had to go and miss the corner just to miss the one car of Mayer. And Gibbs is already going to catch his first lap car at the back of the field right now. Joe Graff Jr. in the 07. This is going to be interesting because now Gibbs is going to have to start making some passes on slower cars. Dangerous situation to pass any cars in these conditions. Fox going with a side-by-side commercial break right now on lap number 7. We'll take a full field rundown the early going of today's race. Ty Gibbs is your race leader by 6 seconds over Sheldon Creed in second. Austin Hill will be in third place. Brett Moffitt in fourth. And Connor Mosack is going to round out the top 5. He's in that 18 car for Joe Gibbs Racing today. Looks like the 13 car just went wide as well. Somewhere on the racetrack. Who was in that car this weekend? That would have been Matt Jaskell. Road course ringer making a one-off start in that 13 car today, I believe for JD Motorsports. So again, Austin Hill's in third, Brett Moffitt in fourth, Connor Mosack rounds out the top 5. Daniel Hemrick is in sixth, Riley Herbst in 7th, Jeb Burton 8th, Parker Chase 9th, and Brandon Jones rounds out the top 10. He also started outside the top 20. Alex LeBay in 11th, great road course racer. We'll have to watch him today. Landon Castle in 12th, Sam Mayer already back up to 13th, Anthony Alfredo 14th, Spencer Pompelli rounds out the top 15. Noah Gregson up to 16th from the rear of the field. Andy Lally, another one to watch today, is in 17th. Jeremy Clements, his only win on a road course race at Mid-Ohio in the rain. Watch out for him today. He's in 18th. Stephen Parsons, 19th. Brandon Brown rounds out the top 20. We saw Justin Allgaier spin earlier. He's in 21st. Myatt Snyder in 22nd. Matt Jaskill, 23rd. Drake Gaulding in 24th. Josh Berry is 25th. Ryan Sieg in 26th. Jade Buford, 27th. Bailey Curry in 28th. Scott Hecker, 29th. And Patrick Emmerling rounds out the top 30. And 31st is Mason Filippi, J.J. Yaley in 32nd, Josh Williams 33rd, Ryan Vargas 34th, A.J. Allmendinger up to 35th, Jesse Wuji in 36th, Darren Dilley in 37th, Joe Graff Jr. rounds out the field. The bottom two are a lap down, everybody else on the lead lap. Again, lap number 8 now at Portland out of 25 in stage 1. That is your full field rundown. First lap of the race was led by Sheldon Creed, and Ty Gibbs has led the rest so far. And Gibbs has caught A.J. Allmendinger, who had to, again, come to pit road. He had grass on the grill after missing a corner in the pace laps at the very start of the race. Put him over half a lap down at the start, and then he went off course again a couple laps into the race on his own. Noah Gragson just went off course during the commercial break as well. Way out in the grass. And that is going to drop him back to 20th. He lost 4 spots that last lap going wide. But this is going to be a good battle between A.J. Allmendinger and Ty Gibbs. Allmendinger obviously wants to stay on the lead lap to the end of the stage. And with Gibbs already in elder lap traffic, there is no easy way for Allmendinger to get the free pass position. His best bet is to stay in front of Ty Gibbs, and he still has 17 more laps to do it, and obviously has been struggling with the handling of his race car. One of the few drivers with experience at this racetrack is A.J. Allmendinger. Had a win back in the, at the time, kart series in 2006. One of 5 wins he had in that season came at Portland on the same configuration. Sam Mayer has just passed Landon Castle for 12th. Gibbs is going to shoot the gap on Allmendinger. Allmendinger moving around quite a bit right now. Still lacking for grip as everybody is, and Gibbs is going to easily clear him into the next corner. But is Gibbs going in too hot? No, he is not. And, I mean, he cleared him by about 3 or 4 car lengths and is still driving away. Riley Herbst, Daniel Hemrick battling for position. That is a battle for 6th. Herbst on the outside looking to make a pass. He had a great run at COTA. He'll be one to watch in today's race. Off to a good start is Herbst. Some of his shining moments in his Xfinity Series career have been on road courses. And remember, the Xfinity Series never raced in the rain last year at COTA like the Cup and the Truck Series did. That was the only dry race of the weekend last year, and there were no other races in the rain for any of the top 3 series in NASCAR last season either. That was it. Well, never mind. I guess the Truck Series had one at Daytona also. But as far as the Xfinity and Cup Series, they didn't have another one. So the Xfinity Series never raced in the rain last season. So a lot of these drivers, with it being a younger field, racing in the rain for the first time. You're Jovian. Welcome to the stream. Go Danica. She's not in the race. Driver named Dilly reminds me of Budweiser commercials. Dilly. Yeah, I do remember those commercials. That's a good point. That's a funny comment. Couldn't tell if the 08 went off course or not in turn 1. He definitely locked the brakes up, and once you lock the brakes up in the rain, there is no keeping that car from sliding. Aggressive battle right now for 4th between Brett Moffitt and Connor Mosack. Mosack, an ARCA Series regular, gonna make a pass on Moffitt. That is for 4th. Mosack is moving. Sorry, actually, that's the 38 car. Lap car was who Mosack just passed. The 02 is actually about 9 seconds ahead of him. To put in perspective how much Ty Gibbs is putting a beating on the field right now, we are only 11 laps in. He has a 12-second lead. He is over a second a lap on average faster than Sheldon Creed in 2nd. And the gap he has already back to 10th place is 40 seconds to Parker Chase, excuse me. That is insane. I have to keep an eye on the lap times they're running to know exactly how much about a one-track lead would be interval-wise, because he is lapping a lot of cars already in the opening first half of the first stage. Thank you for everybody tuning in right now. Again, like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content, live race commentary like this, as well as the race highlight videos from the grandstands at races I go to. No Cup Series live stream this weekend once again for the second straight week, unfortunately. Last week I was at the Indy 500, so couldn't do the Coke 600 stream. I did a commentary for the truck race instead at Charlotte, and this weekend the Xfinity Series race at Portland, as I will be at the Gateway Cup race tomorrow as well. So you'll see a race highlight video from the grandstands from Gateway tomorrow. Check out the Indy 500 highlights from the grandstands from last weekend for my seats in turns 1 and 2. Get a little point of view perspective of what it's like to go to these races in person if you were sitting in the grandstands as well. We have a 3-car battle for second place right now between Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, and Brett Moffitt. Moffitt has ran down the 21 and is looking to the inside on the main straightaway with lapped cars around them. And they are going to be 3 wide into turn 1. J.J. Yaley trying to stay wide and out of the way. Power move on the inside from Moffitt. Can he make the pass? Holds on to it off the curb. Austin Hill still on the inside through the next couple of corners. Hill gets the drive off and holds on to third at least temporarily. But still 14 laps to go on the stage, and Moffitt looking a lot faster right now. And actually, the last couple laps, Moffitt has been the fastest car on the track, even faster than Gibbs, who has a 15-second lead. Moffitt stuck back in 4th place right now, and he's struggling to get around the 22 car. He's raced him clean so far. We'll see if he can continue to do that. And you can tell how much the curbs are even damaging the splitter. As if you are watching this on Fox Sports 1 right now, you can see that Brett Moffitt's right front splitter is kind of pointed upwards from somewhere on the curbing. Finally showing a replay of the Sam Mayer spin from lap 1. Still couldn't tell who had gotten into him, but I believe somebody got into him, which caused him to spin. But again, he is back up to 12th after falling back to 20th when that initially happened. Full screen commercial break now for Fox, and we'll take a quick rundown of the top 10. Again, Ty Gibbs is your race leader on lap 12, 14.7 seconds ahead of Sheldon Creed right now. Creed obviously in second. Third place is Austin Hill. Brett Moffitt in fourth, and Connor Mosack rounds out the top 5. Riley Herbst in sixth. Daniel Hemrick 7th. Jeb Burton in 8th. Brandon Jones in 9th. And Parker Chase rounds out the top 10 in the opening stage. Zane Smith going to fill in for Chris Buescher tomorrow too. Yes, he is. In the 17 car this weekend. I saw, who's on the, Chase Briscoe's on the pole. I got alerted about that when I was on the way here, but I did not get to see it, so I'll probably end up trying to find a way to like rewatch highlights from qualifying or practice, so I can get and obviously look at the times and everything, so I can get that post-race, or not post-race analysis, but predictions video recorded tonight, so that way I don't have to do anything in the morning. I can kind of relax, get my workout in, eat breakfast, and then head to the track tomorrow morning. Yeah, and you just mentioned Briscoe's on the pool tomorrow. I didn't even see that you had mentioned that. But thanks for everybody tuning in. If you need me to enlarge the screen at all, actually I don't know if I could do it much more. Yeah, it's showing the top 30. I think it's all right. It looks like caution is out for the first time today. It is during the commercial break, so no clue exactly what has happened. Might get alerted if you look at the right side of the screen above where my camera is at. If Fox doesn't come back from a commercial break before then, you guys will get to see who was the cause of the caution. I wonder if it might be because the conditions are too damp, because it was really coming down. It was coming down very briefly, almost like it sprinkles, but the track was damp from a heavier shower that took place in the pre-race. And then once the race got going, a couple laps in, it was raining extremely hard after that. The field got out, so that's where the visibility can maybe be a little bit better. But it's under the caution flag when we go green. Immediately following the caution is where visibility is going to be the hardest, because not only have the cars packed together, but with the field not as spaced apart, it's harder to keep the track dry with the cars running laps and making laps around the track as well. more chance for rain to take place for a couple minutes before they come back around to that same spot the following lap. More likelihood of at least standing water around the racetrack. The track's going to be damp either way, but problems right now for the one of Sam Mayer. They're underneath the hood of that race car. So some sort of an issue. I'm actually not able to listen to the race right now, so I have no clue what's going on. That's the disadvantage of being in the hotel room for this, is I can't even listen to it. Caution is out. Looks like Brandon Jones went for a spin into the grass. It's not the reason for the caution, but he had spun into the grass during the commercial break and was nearly stuck. He was on a bit of an incline, so even though he was keeping the wheels spinning, he wasn't really going anywhere. So that caution was perfect timing for Brandon Jones. Didn't need a push truck to get him out, losing him time. Sam Mayer is out of the car right now, and once we get an interview from him, you guys will get to listen to it. But Sam Mayer is out of the car after some sort of an issue on pit road. The 18-year-old's day will come to an end. He spun in turn 1 on the opening lap after contact to the right rear. I'm not sure if maybe that had something to do with the reasoning for the engine problems. Maybe he was stuck in high gear when he had spun. Maybe missed a shift. We have no clue what exactly happened. But if we get an interview from Sam Mayer, then you guys will get to listen in, as usual. So again, Sam Mayer bringing out the caution. Slow on the racetrack was the reasoning for it. And AJ Allmendinger was barely on the lead lap at the time of the caution. I think he got back around Ty Gibbs. Oh, never mind. He got the free pass. That's why he's back on the lead lap. So Allmendinger gets the free pass during the Sam Mayer caution. That's big for him. He was the first car 1 lap down. He'll get back on the lead lap. And we'll probably have about 10 or 11 laps to go when we go green to the end of stage 1. This is our first caution of the race today, as you're watching the inaugural Pacific Office Automation 147 at Portland Live on KRC. So Gibbs' 15-second lead is dissipated. The rain, though, most certainly has not dissipated. Quite a bit of damage to the right front fender on Sheldon Creed after he had gotten into Gibbs' driver's side door when Gibbs hit the curb in turn 1 on lap 3 or 4. Crinkled the fender on it. Obviously, it's still quick for him to still be in second place, but I don't think anybody has anything for Gibbs. But it is a day that drivers are going to be making mistakes. We've seen a lot of great drivers and some of the best in the Xfinity Series today make mistakes, like Justin Allgaier. Noah Gregson's gone off course. Brandon Jones, a multiple-time winner and a winner this season as well, has gone off course. While they're under the caution flag, we'll take a look at the Xfinity Series point standings coming in. This is the start of the second half of the regular season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They also have a 26-race regular season. We'll go through the drivers who are already locked into the playoffs with wins. AJ Allmendinger with 1 win on the season. Noah Gragson has 2 wins. Ty Gibbs, the most winningest driver in the Xfinity Series, with 3 wins. Justin Allgaier with 1 win. Brandon Jones has 1 win at Martinsville. Austin Hill won the season opener at Daytona. And don't forget Josh Berry got his first win of the season last week. I don't know why I can't find him anywhere on here. He's 5th. 2 wins for Barry on the season, but he did win last week, and this is the most recent winner in the Xfinity Series. So as of right now, we have 7 different winners, so still 5 spots open for the Xfinity Series and playoffs, and we could see a wild card winner today, not only with the new road course, but a rain race as well. Sheldon Creed, who's still looking for his first win, is actually outside the cutoff line on points. not having a great season. Still no top fives on the year either. He does have 6 top 10 finishes. But in 13 starts, that is not great. Considering that RCR is usually one of the forces to be reckoned with in the Xfinity Series. Usually a very good Xfinity Series program, and with his teammate already having a win and running 7 spots higher in the driver's standings as well, it's something. Austin Hill also has 5 top 5s this season compared to Sheldon Creed's 0. And has led a lot more laps, 146 laps led for Austin Hill this season compared to 27 for Sheldon Creed. Hill has no stage wins, though, just as well as Creed, but obviously a much better season for Austin Hill. He's got the comfort of being locked into the playoffs, but he is 8th in the driver standings as well, so he'd be in on points if it ended today. Sam Mayer is the highest driver in the Xfinity Series point standings without a win, and the fact that he is already out of the race today in Stage 1, no stage points. He does have a 147-point cushion above the cutoff line, but that's going to drop pretty significantly. He'll still be over 1 race worth of points ahead. And then 86 points ahead of the cutoff line is Riley Herbst. Daniel Hemrick is 75 points above the cutoff line, the defending Xfinity Series champion. Landon Castle's 11th in points, 58 points above the cutoff line. The last driver above the cutoff line coming into today's race by 48 points is Ryan Sieg. Anthony Alfredo, the first driver below the cutoff line in the 23 car. He is 48 points below. Jeff Burton right behind him at 50 points below. And then Sheldon Creed, as we were just talking about, 15th in points, 59 points back. But Creed has a very good shot to get a lot of points today. 10 laps to go under the caution still in Stage 1 for Sam Mayer being slow on the racetrack. He has pulled his car to the pits. They cannot figure out the issue. Mayer climbed out of the car, and his day has come to an end. No interview from Sam Mayer yet. We've got the squeegee on board inside, I believe, A.J. Allmendinger's race car. No, that's a Ford. Never mind. That's not Allmendinger. I don't know who that is, but there is a squeegee wiping off the fog on the inside of the race car. And visibility going to be a major, major talking point in today's race. And for those of you watching the race on Fox Sports 1 right now, I don't know who that was. It was one of the few Ford drivers, though. Not many of them in the Xfinity Series. I wonder who that was. It's either Ryan Sieg, Riley Herbst, J.J. Yaley, Joe Graff Jr., and those are the only Fords in the field today, so it was one of those 4. I'm going to guess it was probably Herbst because I think he's the only one in the top 10 right now. We'll pull the leaderboard back on the screen for you guys. They will be going green this time by. We'll have 9 laps to go in Stage 1. On the front row for the restart will be Ty Gibbs and Sheldon Creed. Row number 2 is going to be Austin Hill, Brett Moffitt. And then row 3 will be Connor Mosack and Riley Herbst. It wouldn't have been Riley Herbst with the squeegee on pit road because he stayed out of the pits. I'm not sure who all pitted there. I know Allmendinger pitted. I'm not sure how much tire wear is going to be a factor on a rain racetrack. We know that the chunks of rubber and the chunking of the tires typically happens when the track conditions get drier, but by no means are the track conditions dry. It has been pretty much downpouring steadily from the very start of the race. Valhalla Sports Talk, welcome to the stream. Drop it in and hit a like. Thank you, man. Definitely hit that like button, everybody. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. 50 people currently watching. Just our second Xfinity Series live stream this weekend, but that's because there's no Cup Race live stream this weekend, as I'll be at the Cup Race at Gateway tomorrow. Green flag is in the air. Great launch on the restart for the 54 of Gibbs. A big move to the inside goes the 21 car of Austin Hill, trying to take over the lead from Gibbs. He gets stacked up, and his teammate gets into the back of him of Sheldon Creed, and now they're wadded up even more as Moffitt drams it into the driver's side door of Sheldon Creed as well. And the top 4 actually stay the same as what they were on the restart. Hill with that aggressive move did not pay off. He knew that might have been his one and only opportunity to get around Gibbs before the end of the stage if we don't get another restart. Most of the field in a single file line right now. Couple car length lead for Ty Gibbs over the 21 of Austin Hill. Sheldon Creed looking to make a pass for second. Gets the dive on the exit of the corner. Pulls alongside his teammate Hill. They're side by side. Hill going to give up the spot, and Creed's back in second place. Obviously, Sheldon Creed needing the points a bit more, but this early in the race, I think that they are legitimately racing right now. I don't think 21 completely pulled over, but maybe when Creed had the run, got alongside, he let him go, knowing how treacherous the track conditions are right now. Although he runs it in deep and nearly gets into the back of him, right around turns 8 and 9. And now towards the finishing corner, Ty Gibbs has already put a 2-second gap over Sheldon Creed, though that battle for second was pretty intense for a little bit. Here is Sam Mayer on his issues.
Conditions play in the incident that happened out on the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, just everyone spinning out, like going off track. I mean, that's part of raid racing, but like, just can't see anything. Like, kind of took me by surprise how little visibility we had, and just ran in the back of someone without knowing that everyone was checking up for someone spinning out, but it's part of it. I mean, our accelerating Camaro was really, really fast. I mean, obviously we got spun on the initial start, so that kind of completely messed up our race, but it's part of it, part of racing. Obviously no one's been here before, so no one really knows when to check up for turn 1, so can't blame anyone for that, but obviously I expected it because of how the ARC race went last year, so this track just kind of feeds into that, but I'm definitely ready to go home.
The rain is picking up at this point in time. What effect did that have on the racetrack once the green flag fell?
Yeah, I mean, I got used to the racetrack pretty quick. I definitely had a lot of speed right away. It's just you can't pass because if you're on the racing line or off the racing line, in this case, that's the only place where there's grip. So you can't really pass anywhere. That's why I just want to go home.
He said, "Guys, it's time to go home."
Words from Sam Mayer. Hopefully you guys heard that. Hopefully it was not completely blaring in your ears. If it was, I'll turn the volume down for the next set of driver interviews we may get in today's race. So let me know down in the chat below. R6R6, welcome to the stream. How long before Gibbs moves up to Cup 2, I believe? Well, there's rumors of Martin Truex Jr. retiring at the end of the season. If there's a vacancy at Joe Gibbs Racing, I know they've... See, that's the thing, though, too. They have announced the plans for Gibbs is to keep him in the Xfinity Series through next season. And then, hopefully, to get him up to Cup by 2024, it would be. That would be the smart move, but if you have a vacancy, as we have a pass for third, the 21 of Austin Hill, losing out on a position to Brett Moffitt. Moffitt didn't really have a gigantic run. Hill just missed the corner. Didn't have to come to a complete stop. Oh, and Sheldon Creed has spun from second. Right in front of the rest of the leaders behind him. He's still on the asphalt. Half on with the rear tires and half off into the grass, trying to get the car corrected. This is costly for Sheldon Creed. We talked about his point scenario coming in. And now he is outside the top 10 with 7 to go in stage 1. He did not need that. I don't know if he was pressing the issue trying to catch up to Gibbs, but whatever the case is, it's one of those instances where you just have to take it easy in the circumstance you're in. 58 points below the cutoff line. You know you have a race car that can point your way in compared to the cars above you in points. He is really struggling. He just slid again trying to pass the 44 car of Andy Lally. He might have actually got into him because there's a fender flare on Lally's right rear corner panel. But what a tough break for Sheldon Creed. He's back to 14th right now, and he is about 4 seconds behind Brandon Jones, who would be the last spot in the top 10 for stage points in the next 6.5 laps. Volume was perfect? All right, thank you. I had to turn the mic around. Okay, the angle of which I have the mic here is a little bit difficult. So, sorry I didn't get through your question all the way, but there was some action on the racetrack there. I had to get the commentary to you guys for, and Sheldon Creed having issues. And now Brandon Jones going to have issues in turn 1. So is Noah Gragson. They both go wide. They have to come to a stop and go in the first turn. Jones was in 10th. That's going to be big for Sheldon Creed. Gragson was in 11th. I'm not sure if Creed was able to get around him or not. They're right in front of Allgaier, who is in 12th. So I don't think they lost any positions going wide. But they definitely lost time to the cars ahead of them. And now the cars behind them are within a couple seconds. It looks like Creed was able to close the gap by about 1.5 seconds after they had to come to that stop and go, blowing turn 1. Raymond Tui, Asai Z, welcome to the stream. Hopefully I get through your answer this time without anything else happening. I'll go quickly. So again, Gibbs rumored to be in the Xfinity Series for another season, but if you have the vacancy open, I don't know who you would bring in. That would be at the end of their contract this year, especially for a lame duck season. You know, it doesn't make any sense for them to sign some guy for 1 year. Especially, it doesn't make any sense for anybody to take that ride for 1 year unless you're maybe only considering staying in the Cup Series for one more season after this. But I can't think of any drivers that would be in that kind of circumstance. You know, other than like a Kurt Busch, but he's already signed through next year for 23XI. Kevin Harvick's still signed through next year for Stewart-Haas Racing, so he can't be the driver to fit that kind of void. So I don't know. I think they're going to have to bring Gibbs up unless they bring Brandon Jones in for 1 year. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I'd say Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs is going to the 19 car next year if and only if Martin Truex Jr. retires. He said he'll know within the next couple weeks, or at least the media will know within the next couple weeks what his final decision is. From an interview I saw on YouTube of him yesterday at the racetrack at Gateway, and a question Bob Podkris had actually asked him in the drivers, I almost said the drivers meeting, but the press, in the press room, that it definitely seemed like he was kind of leaning towards retirement. Side-by-side commercial break right now with 5 laps to go in stage number 1. Ty Gibbs back out to a 10.6 second lead over Austin Hill. Austin Hill obviously will be running P2 right now. Riley Herbst up to 3rd. Good run for him early. Connor Mosack in 4th. And Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 5. He's 15.1 seconds off the lead. Brett Moffitt 16.1 seconds off the lead in 6th. Landon Castle in 7th, 17.8 seconds off the lead. Alex Labate 9th. Alex Labate 8th. Jeb Burt 9th. Noah Gragson rounds out the top 10. So that is the top 10 as they run in stage number 1 right now with now 4 laps to go in the opening stage. Justin Allgaier coming to a slow halt in turn 1 as he has now missed the first turn and he'll lose a spot or two. He's just outside the top 10. He was running in the 12th place position behind Brandon Jones. Comes to the stop and go. It doesn't look like the drivers are losing much time in the first turn, having to take a stop and go penalty. It almost looks like some of the time they're gaining time with how slow the cars have to take turn 1, especially in the rain. Oh, I thought that was Ty Gibbs that was in the grass for a second. It was Riley Herbst, the other Monster Energy car. In 3rd place, he's going to lose out on a lot of stage points. Also without a win, he is more comfortably above the cutoff line than, say, Sheldon Creed, who's 58 points below it, but still costly for Riley Herbst. You never know. Only 5 spots are open for the playoffs. We have 2 more super speedway races, a few more road courses. You never know if a road course ringer is going to end up winning. Obviously, today could be one of those days. Riley Herbst's going to lose a bunch of spots. Falls from 3rd place back to 18th after that spin and a slide into the grass. And I believe that was in turn 6. Kind of a similar situation to what happened to Justin Allgaier earlier in the day when Justin Allgaier in the 7 car off the exit of turn 5 got his left side tires on the curbing where there might be a little bit more standing water. Obviously with the paint's going to make it more slick in general on top of the water that is laying on top of it, and as soon as he hit it, the car just slipped right around. That was almost carbon copy of what happened to Justin Allgaier within the first few laps of the race. Hurt's going to get one of those spots back on pole sitter Anthony Alfredo, but still not in position to get stage points with 3 laps to go now after falling outside the top 10. That moves Sheldon Creed up another spot, but he's still in 13th and is actually losing time to Brandon Jones right now. He's about 17 seconds behind him. I would have to imagine when you go in the grass, too, that probably hurts the tires, especially with how wet it is. For those who might have played sports when you were younger, if the grass was ever wet, you would always get it stuck on like maybe your pants if you were playing baseball or football, and you'd kind of get it stuck on there. I would imagine it's that same issue with tires when you spin off into the grass, that you still have grass particles on the race car, dirt particles on the tires at least, obviously on the race car, but on the tires. And if it gets stuck on there, that's going to cause a little bit more lack of grip. AJ Allmendinger going to go wide again. Bunch of grass on the grill of that race car, just like he had on the pace laps at the start of the race. This is the second time he's gone off during the race, and he went off before the race. Allmendinger's having a tough time right now. That drops him back to 19th. He pitted for tires at the rear of the lead lap after getting the free pass during that first and only caution of the race when Sam Mayer had stalled. Worked his way in the top 15, lost a few spots there, and trying to find a way to make the ground up. And if anybody has anything for Gibbs, you wonder if it could be a guy like A.J. Allmendinger. There's a couple other drivers that have been moving through the field pretty good, but they're just not running nearly as good of a pace as Gibbs. And you wonder how much of that is possibly clean track position, too, with clean air. Obviously, Gibbs has nobody in front of him. He can push harder than anybody else. It's also interesting, too, because the track is probably more wet, especially the first couple laps after the restart on the race leader, than anybody else in the field, because he has no tire tracks to go off of compared to everybody else behind him. The visibility, obviously not an issue when you have the clean traffic, unless you get lap cars in front of you, kind of like Gibbs is dealing with right now. But 18 and a half second lead right now. They'll be coming to the final lap of the stage. Pit road's already closed once they hit the start-finish line the last time by. And if Gibbs is wise here, I would just lay off, not even worry about trying to pass these cars in front of you. Give yourself some breathing room, just in case they make a mistake, or in case you lock the tires up, run into the back of one of them. Into turn one. Makes a couple passes on that main straightaway on the 91 and the 38. So does the 47 and the 78 cars in front of him. Josh Williams and Ryan Vargas. Gibbs is still pushing hard. I guess there is a saying, racers race, and that's what Gibbs is doing right now, even with a big lead. He's definitely backed the pace up quite a bit. Austin Hill's already gained 2.5 seconds on this lap since Gibbs hit lap traffic, and now clean traffic ahead of Austin Hill. But again, final lap of the stage. No worries for Ty Gibbs. He's got a couple more corners to go, and then he'll get his first stage win of the race, trying to go for his 4th race win already on the season. This is only the 14th race. Won 4 races all of last year on a part-time schedule in the Xfinity Series when he was in the 54 for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's 3rd in the driver's standings, and with Allmendinger having issues today, coming in 40 points below, and remember, 15 playoff points are awarded to the regular season champion, Gibbs has a great chance to catch up in that category. Gregson started at the rear of the field. He's in the back half of the top 10. He'll get some points, but not a lot, and he's only 7 points behind him coming into today's race for second. Green, white, checkered flag in the air for the first time today, and it will be Ty Gibbs by a landslide winning stage number 1. So Gibbs is going to end up in first. We're waiting for the rest of the field to circle back around. Austin Hill will end up second in stage number 1. Connor Mosack is going to end up 3rd. Daniel Hemrick 4th. And Brett Moffitt will round out the top 5 in the opening stage. Alex LeBay will be 6th. Noah Gregson in 7th. Landon Castle 8th. Brandon Jones 9th. And Justin Allgaier will round out the top 10. Caution is out now as stage 1 has concluded. Top 10 have all gotten their points. Coming across the start-finish line. Domination for Ty Gibbs. He's led all but the first 2 laps. Started a little bit further behind the 2 that led the first couple of Sheldon Creed and pole sitter Anthony Alfredo. So stage 1 is concluded. 50 laps to go in the race. Like it could be any better. I don't know why. When I saw that in the chat, when you commented that, it made me think of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Like it couldn't be any better. That was a terrible Shaggy impersonation. My voice is not fully here I haven't had water in a while. I'm going to have to go to the vending machine downstairs and get one. Well, as soon as I'm done streaming. Again, stage 1 in the books. This will be our second caution of the day during the stage break. I don't even know who won the truck race earlier today. The only thing I saw on the TV when I got here was them interviewing Derek Kraus, who finished 7th, and then they flipped it right to Portland because the Xfinity race was on like 10 minutes after that. So I have not seen the results to that, so I'm going to check that right now during the stage break. Surprise myself. Who won? Who won the truck race at Gateway today? Truck Series. Corey Heim won? That's not right, is it? Did Corey Heim win the truck race today? I don't know why I don't believe that looking at it. It doesn't seem right. It's saying starting lineup on here. I don't know. It is Corey Heim. Wow, okay. Congrats to Corey Heim. Getting the win for KBM. Zane Smith finished 2nd. Stuart Friesen 3rd. Chandler Smith 4th. Christian Eckes rounded out the top 5. John Hunter Nemechek at 6. This is the starting lineup. Hang on. Gosh, I don't know why he keeps taking me back to that. So Corey Heim started on the pole and won. Chandler Smith won stage 1. Ben Rhodes won stage 2. But yeah, Corey Heim started 1st, finished 1st. Christian Eckes finished 2nd. Chandler Smith was 3rd. Stuart Friesen 4th, and Johnny Sauter rounded out the top 5. Matt DiBenedetto 6th. Derek Kraus 7th. Ben Rhodes 8th. Zane Smith 9th. And Chase Purdy had a top 10 in the 61. Nice. Rajah Caruth finished 11th. Wasn't that his debut? That's awesome for him. John Hunter Nemechek finished 35th. Damaged vehicle policy. Oof. Hemfinger finished 28th. Tanner Gray finished last. Hocevar got in an accident, finished 24th. Sounds like a lot of DNFs today. Bummer for Hocevar. That's why not winning that race last weekend so crucial. Not getting a great finish with it also crucial. Raj is a Twitch iRacer. Yeah, he's running full-time in ARCA this year, though, too. Definitely know of him. But I think it was his debut in the Truck Series today, so congrats for him getting an 11th place finish. That's solid. Spire Motorsports, I believe, was the entry for him. So pit road procedures today, a little bit different because it's an Xfinity Series standalone event, so they don't have their full crews there this weekend out in Portland. Stage break will be 3 minutes. During the pit stop, teams are allowed to change 4 tires, add fuel. They will restart the order, the set of the caution, unless they decide not to pit. So if they decide to stay out of the pits, they can actually cycle out ahead. But 3-minute break period, and when they get into their pit boxes, you guys will get to listen into what adjustments and what the drivers' handling conditions have been so far today. David Beebe, Duque Chronic, Brian Chastain, welcome to the stream, everybody. Sorry if I've not called anybody out so far today that has been in the chat, but I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Billy Carjoy, welcome. Road to 3,000 subs, and of course, the road to becoming a NASCAR commentator for real races in the real world down the road. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you are new. Live race commentary on the race weekends. I've been consistent. I think we've only missed 1 weekend completely out of the year out of races I have not gone to in person. That's just because I try to choose to watch a few races with my grandparents. A normal, weekend tradition. I watch the Richmond race over there. But the races I have been going to recently, I've been trying to at least do a truck or Xfinity live stream. Like last week when I went to the Indy 500, I did the Truck Series stream on Friday night before I left. On Saturday for Indy, and then this week doing this race in Portland from my hotel room outside of Gateway. So it's like Eldora. Yeah, pretty much. It's like a dirt race pit stop. It's basically exactly how they did pit stops for Dirt Bristol a couple months ago is exactly how the pit stops will be today for the Xfinity Series. So no live pit stops, at least during the caution break. Green flag stops will be different, but it doesn't seem like they have to pit at all during the stages themselves. So the strategy is pretty straightforward. As long as Ty Gibbs can survive the restarts and just keep control of the race car in the wet weather, he should have this race on lock. It's his race to lose. Even though we're only 25 laps in, that is going to be the case today. Far and away the best car in the field. And the 3-minute break has not started yet. Still waiting on the 91 car to get in his pit box. Once he does, there they go. Teams are off and away.
Put tires on and fuel all of these NASCAR Xfinity Series vehicles. All right, Josh, they're hard at work.
Yeah, they are hard at work. Let's start with the 54 of Ty Gibbs, your stage 1 winner. Happy with that car, so he's getting fuel and he's getting tires, but he was pretty good in stage 1. Came over, said, I'm pretty happy, and with good reason. Let's move on to Daniel Hemrick in the 11. He said he needs a little minor adjustment. He was top 5 in that first stage. They're going to get tires and fuel as well. And the 18 of Connor Mosek said he's dealing with some fog issues, that windshield fogging up just a little bit, so that's the biggest concern for the 18 right now, Jamie.
Moving up to the number 21 of Austin Hill. He started this race in that second position, really stayed in the top 3 most of the first stage. And what he was telling the team over the radio was where he can make some improvements, where he can really pick up the pace is just in the driving. He said he was holding back at the brake markers because he didn't really know where they were when the rain was falling hard. It stopped at this point in time. So he's just got to wrap his head around the weather. He doesn't really want any adjustments. But one of the things to think about for the next stage break, one of the conversations that they're having, is about the tire world. Do they need to take tires at the next stage break? They're going to take a good look at the set that comes off of the car after this first stage. Then they'll make that evaluation. Why would they do that when they have to sit here for 3 minutes? Well, because they know that the cars perform better with the warmer tires at the higher pressures in the wet conditions. So they're going to take a look at that. I want to also move up to the number 02 of Brett Moffitt. He made some big gains during that first stage, and the biggest thing that he needs at this point in the race is just some visibility issue that he's having. They're going to get in there. You see cleaning out the driver's side. He said, I don't care about the passenger side of the race car. I need to be able to see what's ahead of me, and that's where he was really struggling in this first stage. Josh?
Let's talk about the 36 of Alex LeBay. He's been really happy with what he's been able to do. No surprise for him that he's in the top 10. During practice yesterday, he wasn't able to run that many laps because of an issue. Just ran 1 lap, but he said he was strong and fast in that 1 lap, especially in the rain. So he's a strong road course racer. He's got that in his background as they continue to work on that car, working on the windshield right now. But otherwise, he's happy where he's at, guys.
Well, Noah Gragson is another one that we've been watching. We talked about the accident that he had in practice, had to bring out this backup car. There were a couple of unknowns with the rain because when he went out for qualifying, it was dry. So this particular car hadn't seen the wet conditions yet, but they decided not to make any changes. They were really happy with the way that the car was balanced in the rain. They didn't want to change anything, but what they did do is peel off that first tear off. We talked about this earlier. The rain exits on the outside of the windshield. Once you remove that tear off, it's gone. But with this 3-minute break, they decided that they go ahead and put a fresh coat on there. So he doesn't want to use the wiper, as you guys talked about in the booth. It really doesn't do a whole lot of good with the rains flying, with the rooster tails. The engines are fired. Our 3 minutes is about up. But everybody's pretty happy over at the 9.
Jamie, for all the coverage down there, that's a lot going on, a lot of time to take up. But
oh, that's Trevor Bain. I thought it was Regan Smith for a second. I was like, wait a minute, I thought he was covering Gateway this weekend. Alrighty. Yep, so the stage 1 break is over, at least for pit stops now, so the cars are going to be rolling back out onto the racetrack. You heard their engines firing moments ago. Ty Gibbs will restart in the lead. It'll be the control car, and then again, Austin Hill will be on the front row with him when they go to the green to start stage number 2. Shouldn't be long. It's go back to green flag racing. Have to get everybody reorganized. Probably one caution lap, and that would be about it. Sometimes the tires go bad for a little, then they come back. Yeah, that's pretty much the case with the rain races and the rain tires. As long as the tires themselves aren't hitting dry spots on the racetrack, there's not a whole lot of tire wear on the rain tires themselves. As long as it's really damp where they're racing, believe it or not, even in puddles, can actually work out really well. But the drier the track gets, the more those tires will wear out. But again, the rain is still consistently falling, so that is not the case right now. Free pass goes to the 35 car, Patrick Emmerling, during the Stage 1 break. That'll put 29 cars in the lead lap when we start Stage 2. Again, Sam Mayer, the only car out of the race today. He had stalled on lap 12, bringing out the only caution for incident in the race. But we have seen a plethora of spins. No wrecks, but a lot of spins on this wet course and going off course today. And then one spin on the initial start in turn 1 as well from Sam Mayer. They got through the last restart a lot more cleaner. We'll see how this one will go. It's not going to be the final restart today, we know, because of a Stage 2 break coming up at some point in time. Earl Arnold Jr., welcome to the stream. Tomorrow's the first Cup race at Gateway. Yes, it is. First Cup race at Gateway. Trucks have been racing there consistently for a while now. And then the Xfinity Series back at Portland for the first time in, I believe, 22 years. I think 2000 was the last year they were there. And they haven't raced there too much either. Obviously not in the last 22 years. At least for NASCAR, IndyCar's been racing there consistently for a while. But thank you for everybody tuning in again today. Like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content on the channel. Believe it or not, this is not the last live stream today from my hotel room in St. Louis. And I'm actually right next to the airport, well, 20 minutes from the racetrack in the Missouri side of St. Louis area. So I'll be heading to Gateway for the Cup race tomorrow. I'll be covering the race from the track for race highlights from the Grandstands predictions video. Will be out on the channel tomorrow morning. It'll be uploaded before I take off. I don't know what time I'm leaving yet exactly. Definitely a new track. I haven't been there before, so I'd like to check out the area. So as far as the next stream tonight, NASCAR 21 Ignition will be back on the channel for the first time in, I think, almost 3 weeks. 2 straight days of it. Tomorrow, we will be racing at Atlanta for my hotel room when I get back from the Cup race. Scheduled start time will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would be 7 p.m. Central Standard Time where I'm at. So I'm going to make sure I'm not an hour late, getting my times mixed up. So that'll be out tomorrow at 8. Tonight at 8 will be our live stream at Road America. So obviously doing live commentary for an Xfinity Series race at Portland on a road course. And I'll be doing live commentary for my NASCAR 21 Ignition race later tonight at Road America. Another newer road course to NASCAR, at least for the Cup Series at Road America and the Xfinity Series at Portland. Pretty packed crowd on hand for an Xfinity Series standalone event. They wanted to see NASCAR. Ponchos on, everything with the wet weather. Great to see a large crowd on hand at a track. I will say when the Xfinity Series is going to Mid-Ohio, and I can attest this because I went to the Mid-Ohio race last season for the Xfinity Series, that there was an all right amount of people there, but nowhere near compared to what it looks like at Portland. Sorry for the bots in the chat. I don't know what's going on with that today. We haven't had them in a while. I know I'm not the only one getting these two. I don't know if anybody knows the Clickbait Sports podcast. I don't really watch those guys too much, at least podcast-wise, but I watch a lot of their channels. Urinating Tree, 5 Point Vids, Tom Grossi. Couple other guys that I never really watched their YouTube channels before. Probably should check them out. But I was watching that either yesterday or the day before. They had a live stream of their podcast. And I saw a bunch of those bots popping up in their chat. So I know for a fact it's not just me that is having the issue with these bots. The vulgarness of the bots, too. Like, they're literally having the same one. So I don't know how that keeps popping up. I don't know how to get rid of it either. So I just try to ignore it and try to report them if you can down in the chat also. Lights are out on the pace car. They'll be going green this time. It'll be lap 28 of 75, so we should have about 23 laps to go in stage 2 when we go green. Ty Gibbs will be on the inside lane for turn 1. Seen a couple drivers try to take it 3 wide on the restart so far. Connor Mosack will be inside of row 2 behind Gibbs. We'll see if he'll pull out of line when they get to the start-finish line. Into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Ty Gibbs getting a better launch than Austin Hill on the outside. Hill could not get going. 3 and 4 wide in the middle of the pack towards the back half of the top 10. They're 5 wide into turn 1. Just outside the top 10. A lot of contact made between Sheldon Creed, Riley Herbst, and the 23 of Anthony Alfredo. And somehow they get through the corner. I don't know how nobody went off course there, going 4 and 5 wide. Now one car gets turned. I don't know who it was. The camera cut away. It might have been Riley Herbst, and it was Herbst, and he gets drilled. Big collision on the front stretch, and that's going to lead to a caution. The 6 car just careened the 98 of Riley Herbst, who had gotten turned by somebody else. And the front of the 6 for JD Motorsports is absolutely destroyed. Greg Gaulding driving the 6 car this weekend. It is flat in the nose of his race car. Caution is out. Matt Jaskell also involved in the 38 car of Darren Dilley also involved. Heavy damage to the front of his cars. His hood is nearly clear up over his windshield, probably having different sorts of visibility problems. Big wreck between the chicane and that next corner on the track. So it would have been between turns 3 and 4 is where that spin took place. You see on the screen, it took place probably right in this area where you see the mouse. But midway through 3 and 4, I saw the 98 car get turned, and he was stuck on the racetrack. Cars were trying to evade. They usually keep it green in that area just for race flow because there's no local yellows. And he had nowhere to go. I mean, cars were probably pulling out of line in front of him, so he probably had no clue that the 98 was sitting there. And when the car in front of him moved out of the way, there was the 98. And yeah, that looked to be the case. The 98 was spinning. The 6 was inside, and just drilled him. Hit him right around the right rear corner panel, right rear tire, and just completely caved in the front nose of Greg Gaulding's race car. Our second caution for incident, our first crash resulting in a caution today. Now this was shortly after they were 4 and 5 wide through turn 1. 3x3 most of the field. Herbst looked to have been in a 3 wide scenario. So when he got turned, I wonder if it was just cars trying to cycle in line. It looked like he got turned off the 2 car of Sheldon Creed. Now Creed got sandwiched between Herbst and another car in the middle of that 3. I think they were 4 wide in turn 1. Because I remember Creed getting sandwiched between Herbst and somebody else, and I don't know if Herbst got turned intentionally by Sheldon Creed. Big hit on Herbst. You see him moving around in the race car. Giant hit on the right rear with the in-car camera. Herbst was having such a great day. He spun in the closing laps of stage 1, and that's why he was restarting mid-pack on that restart in the first place, just outside the top 10. It was because of his spin late in the stage. So a mistake by Herbst at the end of stage 1 put him in that situation. A vulnerable spot, to say the least. And he didn't do anything wrong there, but the thing he did do wrong was the spin leading up to him restarting there. So 5 cars involved. Sheldon Creed was the one who started it. He didn't really have any damage. He just turned Riley Herbst pretty cleanly. Greg Gaulding obviously had the biggest hit of those. Riley Herbst has heavy damage. Darren Dilley and Matt Jaskell also involved. Looks like Jade Buford's got some damage too. The 48 car, he just hit pit road. Damage on the right front fender of his car. I'm not sure if that was a separate incident or from the same incident. Should switch to single file. They did that at, didn't they do that at COTA? No, they didn't do that at COTA. They did that at Dirt Bristol, I believe. Or no, maybe they did do that at COTA last year. See, the thing is, if they're single file, yes, they won't be 4 or 5 wide on the restarts. But you got to put that in the hands of the drivers, though. That's the driver's fault that they're going 4 and 5 wide on the restarts. Like, they don't have to go 4 and 5 wide. If visibility is a problem, then be patient and just stay in line. But because they fan out, if that is the issue for the visibility on the restarts, because they fan out so wide, and then they can't see from there, it's kind of their own fault, in my personal opinion. They did do it at COTA. I know they did it at Dirt Bristol last year. Not this year, but last year they did it for visibility. I guess they did do it at COTA too. I don't think they'll do that today, though. It's a little different, though, because at COTA, they mainly did it because of the long straightaway, that high-speed straightaway in the middle of the racetrack between turns 9 and 10, I believe. Or actually between turns 10 and 11, if I'm remembering correctly. Because they were still bunched together at that area of the track, and they had 2 violent accidents in that area. This was a pretty hard hit, but this wasn't even on a... I mean, it was a longer straightaway, but it wasn't between 3 and 4. So again, right here, you have 1, 2, and 3 in the chicane off the main straightaway. This is obviously the longest straightaway at the racetrack. The longest on throttle portion of the racetrack would be between turns 8 and 9, where you have this long, lengthy stretch where you're pretty much on the gas all the way through. It's a curved straightaway down the back. And apologize for what's going on in the chat still. So yeah, it wasn't even a big straightaway. They were just trying to cycle back. They were either trying to cycle back in. One of two things happened. Because they were 3 and 4 wide off the exit of that chicane, they were trying to file themselves in line, and Creed just didn't know he thought he was clear behind the 98, and he ended up turning him. Or he did it in retaliation of getting sandwiched, which really wasn't Herbst's fault. It was probably more the fault of the 2 cars, really, that were underneath both the 2 and the 98 of Creed and Herbst. I couldn't tell who that car was. I almost wondered if that might have been Jade Buford, and that was the damage he saw in his race car. Oh, he was just outside the top 10 earlier. It looked like about his color race car. It might have been Andy Lally in the 44, though, too. It looked like a lighter colored car. It was hard to tell exactly from the cameras and obviously the rain on the cameras and everything exactly who that was mid-pack. Doesn't help that they were 4 abreast. 2 good straights, yeah. Yeah, this main straightaway off of the final corner of turn 12 to turn 1, and then between 8 and 9. That one's the longer of the 2, and I would imagine it's more higher speed because the corner between 7 and 8, there's not that much of a twist in it at all. Cars involved in the accident. Yeah, Jade Buford was involved. It's updated on our screen at least. The 4 of Bailey Curry had some damage from the accident. Jade Buford, we saw he had damage. The 5 of Scott Heckard had damage. The 2 cars started it, so I'm not really going to include him in this. He doesn't really have any damage. It was a pretty clean turn of the 98. And Riley Herbst is back out on the racetrack. I think he got hit more in the right rear corner panel of the car, and he just the 6 car just missed his tire when he hit him. So even though he hit him really hard, I think the axle is fine. And the wheel well around the right rear tire is fine on the 98. And if that is the case, he'll be able to continue. Here is an interview right now with one of the crew chiefs. And it is the crew chief of Austin Hill.
Andy Street about having no grip. He said with the new tires, the cold tires, he can't get any heat in them. What do you do at the next stage to fix it?
Only thing I know to do right now is to adjust on some tire pressure and maybe do a little chassis adjustment for him to help him build a little heat. Mother Nature's done a good job of keeping the tires cool today, so hopefully it looks like it's lightening up a little bit, so hopefully we'll get some heat in our tires here.
Thank you. Josh?
And here with Jason Ratcliffe, and Connor's running great out there right now. Track is drying out. At what point do you consider switching the tires to the slicks, and what's the biggest concern for you guys right now?
Well, we've been talking about that very thing right now. I think it'll take a while to dry out. Yesterday in practice, it stopped raining similar to this, and we were able to still run, 12, 15 laps. But if it happens, man, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a tough call for a lot of crew chiefs here. I kind of hope it does. It put a little more excitement into it. I'm not sure about these guys doing pit stops today, but it might be entertaining as well.
Appreciate your time and good luck the rest of the way, Jason. Guys.
That was Jason Ratcliffe, crew chief of Connor Mosack of the 18 car this weekend. Again, ARCA driver making a one-off start in the Xfinity Series for Joe Gibbs Racing today, having a great run on a road course. I'm not sure if this is his first career start or not, but qualified 8th. He's currently in 3rd. He's having himself a great run. The track is drying up a little bit, as Jason Ratcliffe just said. I don't know if it is currently raining there now, but it does look like the clouds are breaking apart a bit, and you can actually see some sun on certain parts of the racetrack. So that'll be something to monitor. Because the race started in the rain by NASCAR rule, they do not have to throw the caution at all at any point in time for teams to switch to dry, or I should say slick tires. So for teams to switch to slick tires, they have to do that on their own. It is a judgment call. And again, these pit crews are not the normal pit crews on these Xfinity Series teams this week, because the Truck and the Cup Series are at Gateway. It's a standalone event for the Xfinity Series in Portland. So if they do have to make green flag stops to put slicks on, they're going to have to do it undermanned. So this is going to be very, very highly interesting, entertaining to see how the strategy play will work. Again, I mentioned earlier, chunking of the tires starts to happen as the track dries up and they hit drier spots on the racetrack. So even though you didn't see much tire wear in Stage 1 because it was an all-damp track, it was raining all the way through Stage 1, that is not the case as much anymore, where the track is starting to dry up for the first time really today. And if it goes back to the rain because it started in the rain and have to put rain tires back on, NASCAR will not throw the yellow either. Again, judgment calls for tires going forward because they started the race with rain tires. Pace car is on to pit road. Ty Gibbs and Austin Hill on the front row again. Hill on the outside. Green flag back in the air. Mosack will be inside of row number 2. Probably going to keep it a little bit patient with his teammate Ty Gibbs right in front of him. That seemed to be the case on the last restart as well, and that is the case here. One of the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas pulls to the bottom, and no, Mosack will go to the inside. 3 wide for the lead, and actually it's side by side rather, because Gibbs had the 21 cleared on the outside. Gibbs and Mosack are battling for the lead now off of turn 3. Gibbs will beat him through the shifts and hold on. And Austin Hill will dive back underneath the 18 of Mosack into turn 4. Now he'll think better of it and just pull back in line right behind the 18. But Mosack made a power move to get to second. Almost took the lead from Ty Gibbs. I didn't think he was going to try that being a teammate, but he actually got under there cleanly. I don't even think the two cars made contact with one another. Great move by the young gun of Mosack. From the ARCA Series to the Xfinity Series for this one-off start for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's making the most of it in a rain race at Portland. I'm not sure how much of a road course ringer he is. Maybe that is the reason for him being in the 18, but very interesting run. Andy Lally in the 44 car has moved inside the top 10 now after that restart. Passing Alex Obey, and he's battling Landon Castle for 8th place. And he has completed the pass on Castle as well. Great job for Lally. Still battle for second between Mosack and Hill. Hill trying to get his spot back after losing it on the restart. A lot more sun is starting to shine in that back half of the racetrack between turns 8 and 9 on that very long straightaway. Likely going to see drivers, for those of you watching the race on Fox Sports 1 right now, try to catch some sort of wet spots on the longer straightaways to try to keep the tires wet and keep them from chunking. Almost a situation where you don't want to run to the tire tracks of the car in front of you anymore. Power slide by the 21 of Hill. He is going to lose positions as he has to come to a stop and go in turn 1. He was pushing hard to try and get around the 18 of Mosak, and he pushed it a little bit too hard. Going to lose multiple positions, and he'll be in line right behind Daniel Hemrick in 5th as Hemrick power slid off of turn 3. Probably saw the 21 car merging back onto the racetrack, but he had him clear. And now the 51 of Jeremy Clement's going to go wide in turn 4. Clements is off. He's in the grass. Gets back on quickly. Lost a couple spots, and now he's on the outside of Justin Allgaier in the 7 car for JRM. Lally still has that fender flare on the right rear corner panel as well after contact on an earlier restart in stage 1. Now he's right in front of Sheldon Creed, and it looks like he is no longer inside the top 10. And actually, Lally is in 10th because, well, I don't know. I think Fox's leaderboard's off a little bit because, no, that would be right. That would be right. Yeah, Lally's in 10th place. Creed's in 11th. Because Creed didn't get stage points at the end of stage 1. He went off course late in that opening stage. 3-car battle for second between Mosak, Moffitt, and Hemrick. Mosak with a power slide off that finishing corner in turn number 12. Moffitt to the outside in turn 1. How is this going to work? This is where Austin Hill tried to make the move. He power slid and missed the first turn. Moffitt not going to miss the first turn, though, and ducks back in line behind Mosak. He had a little bit of room to squeeze between the 18 and the 11. Austin Hill has lost a lot of spots now. Gregson just got back around him, and Brandon Jones nearly got around him through turns 1 through 3. Moffitt going to put the bumper to Mosak into turn 4. Now Moffitt goes a bit wide, and Hemrick gets to the inside of the 0-2 after that lost cause of trying to pass the 18 car. Through 5 and 6 into the carousel. And still side by side for third. Hemrick is going to complete the pass on Moffitt. And now quickly Hemrick gets alongside Mosak for second. And he'll complete the pass. Hemrick up to P2. As high as he has been in the running order today. As Gibbs rolls on with already a 7-second lead over second. All the battling from second on back as Gibbs is gone once again. Noah Gregson staying in front of the 21 car. A bit of a defensive line on the long straightaway between turns 8 and 9. Hops back in line. He's right behind Moffitt in the 0-2 car. Gregson up to 5th after starting at the rear of the field. Remember, he's in a backup car after wrecking in practice yesterday. Wrecked on the front stretch in the rain. Just off the exit of where the pit lane ended. When he slammed the concrete wall and then dug the splitter into the grass. Completely just shearing it off the race car. Moffitt going to get around Mosak. Gregson going to try to force the issue into turn 1. Gregson power move to get around Mosak. Oh, he slides a bit too much, though, trying to pick the throttle up. And Mosak's going to stay in front of him for an extra corner. A little too slippery for Noah Gregson to pull that deep dive through turns 1 and 3 off in the chicane off the main straightaway. Gregson into the carousel, again trying to get alongside Mosak for 4th. Not going to be able to get around him again, and Mosak holds on. This is holding Gregson up, and he's losing time on the 2 cars who just got around Mosak the last lap in front of him. Mark Witkowski, welcome to the stream. Premium 18, welcome to the stream. Dark Crypto, welcome. And any others who I've not already shouted out, welcome. Live race commentary of the inaugural Pacific Office Automation 147 at Portland International Raceway. Live on KRC. The race itself on Fox Sports 1. We're giving you guys a live commentary because I will not be able to do live commentary for the Gateway Cup race tomorrow. I will be at the racetrack. As you can probably tell, not my usual setup as I am in my hotel room in St. Louis right now. It is drying out a bit, yep. Definitely can see some drier spots on the racetrack, and again, sun peeking through in certain areas. Pacific Northwest, usually a pretty damp area of the country. Probably should have figured something like this could have been a possibility, especially in the springtime. But I have to say, these drivers are slowly getting the hang of it. Not seeing as many spins in Stage 2 compared to what we saw in Stage 1, despite the fact that we had that big wreck off the restart to Stage 2. But excluding that, we haven't really seen anybody go off course since. Showing the replay of Gregson's crash from practice yesterday. He almost ramped the signage at the exit of pit road where he had dug the splitter into the grass. Completely put the hole in the radiator. So we fast forward about a lap and a half after we last saw the battle between the 9 and the 18. They are still battling hard. Gregson is aggressively going to move to the inside of Mosak. He's racing him clean, but you can really see the 9 car is pushing extremely hard right now. Going to try to back up the next corner into turns 9 and 10. And again, has to sit behind Mosak. Both of these two are still pulling away from Brandon Jones, Austin Hill, and now Sheldon Creed back inside the top 10 to 8th behind his teammate Hill. Maybe the two cars made a bit of adjustments during that stage break that has allowed him to make some passes for position, because Hill, who has fallen back, is being ran down by his teammate once again. Christian Rowe, welcome to the Christian Rayu, welcome to the stream. Hopefully I said your last name correctly, and thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Derek Booth, welcome to the stream. And definitely hit that like button, everybody, if you have not already. And subscribe, again, for more daily NASCAR content. Almost 70 people watching as of right now. Well, we have another car off the track, one of the few in Stage 2, and it's road course ringer Alex LeBay in the 36 car, who is running in the 9th place position. Now Daniel Hemrick goes off the track just a couple corners ahead of him. Heavy damage on the, and I believe the axle's broken on the 98 now. It was barely intact before. You could really see the sway bar almost dragging on the ground. The right rear is completely swayed out. The left rear tire is just so far in underneath the fender and the back of that race car. Herbst again involved in that last accident, and I think that's going to end his day. I don't think they're going to be able to get that fixed. Even if they do, he's going to go a lap down now as Gibbs is going to lap him on the front stretch. About halfway through Stage 2 right now, and we are about halfway through today's race at Portland. Today's trivia question on the channel will have to deal with the Xfinity Series at Portland, because they have raced here before. Who was the last driver to win an Xfinity Series race at Portland? Try not to Google it. I will give you guys the answer to that question at lap 43 if nobody gets it right beforehand. I will shout out the first person who gets it right in the chat down below as well. Pollutant 2.0, welcome to the stream. Midnight where you are. Yeah, thanks for staying up late. Keeping an eye out on the Xfinity Series coverage today. Hopefully you're enjoying the race if you're able to watch it, or the commentary if you're listening onto this live stream. Maybe both. Maybe you're watching the race and listening to my commentary. I know some of you guys have been doing that. Not pulling in the big numbers for the Xfinity and the Truck Series races as usual, but again, trying to make it up to you guys doing these streams on the weekends that I'm at the Cup race for the race weekend. Another car off the racetrack. They're on a side-by-side commercial break right now. That would be the 26 car. And I'm trying to see who is driving that car this weekend. Got a lot of road course ringers in this. Parker Chase in the 26. Went off into the grass now. Just outside the top 20. Currently in 24th is Chase. He has some damage to the right front. So I don't know if he had contact which led him going into the grass. Not getting a replay for every spin because we have seen quite a few, and quite a few go off track today. Of course, with it being a rain race at Portland. Not a lot of rain races in NASCAR's history. Most of them, though, have been in the Xfinity Series, but it's been a few years. Last rain race in the Xfinity Series was the Charlotte Roval back in 2020. Showing a replay of Brett Moffitt going off into the grass as well moments ago. Moffitt losing a couple spots and is now outside the top 5. Our leaderboard is not updated. Moffitt was in second place. That's going to move Mosak back to P2. And Gregson, who is still behind him, is in third. As high as Gregson has been in the running order, Sheldon Creed up to 4th. Ahead of Moffitt. Moffitt's in 5th. And then Austin Hill would be in 6th place behind him. We'll take a rundown of the full field right now with 11 laps to go in stage 2. So again, Ty Gibbs has an 11.3 second lead over Connor Mosak, who is now in 2nd. 3rd place would be Noah Gregson, Sheldon Creed 4th, Brett Moffitt rounds out the top 5, Austin Hill in 6th, Landon Castle 7th, Andy Lally back inside the top 10 in 8th, Myatt Snyder having a good run in 9th, and Justin Allgaier rounds out the top 10. AJ Allmendinger in 11th, Jeremy Clements in 12th, 13th is Josh Berry after qualifying outside the top 20, Spencer Pompelli in 14th, and Anthony Alfredo is in 15th. Brandon Jones in 16th, Jeb Burton in 17th, 18th is Brandon Brown, Bailey Curry 19th, and Daniel Hemrick rounds out the top 20. Alex LeBay in 21st, Jade Buford 22nd, Ryan Sieg 23rd, Stephen Parsons 24th, and Patrick Emmerling is in 25th. Parker Chase 26th, JJ Yaley, who got the free pass during the last caution, is in 27th rather, last car in the lead lap. Scott Heckert, first car one lap down in 28th. 29th is Joe Graff Jr. Matt Jaskell is in 30th. He was involved in the last accident. Josh Williams in 31st. Ryan Vargas, who was also in that wreck, in 32nd. Mason Filippi in 33rd. 34th is Jesse Iwuji. 35th is Riley Herbst with heavy damage, just pulled onto pit road moments ago. 36th is Greg Galding, and then Darren Dilley 37th with Sam Mayer out of the race in 38th. So currently 4 cars out of the race now, assuming that Herbst is pulled to the garage. Oh, Ty Gibbs has an issue. Gibbs is slow right now. I think he might have missed a corner. 10 laps to go in the stage, and I think Gibbs has lost the lead. Oh, he got cleaned out by the 34. Yeah, caution's out the pace car. Caution is out. The pace car was on the racetrack, and Gibbs got spun under the caution by the 34 car right at the exit of pit road where the 34 was trying to make his way into turn 1. I don't know who's... I would assume it's probably the lap car's fault for not just staying behind Gibbs. Little fender rub on the 34 car now. I missed it because I was going through the running order. Who is in the 34? That was Jesse Iwuji in the 34 car. Crazy. Andrea Lines, welcome to the stream. Yeah, hit the bell notification as well, as Mark Witkowski said in the chat also. So caution's out for debris at lap 39. Should give the free pass to Scott Heckert, I do believe. Here is an interview with Riley Herbst, who had just pulled off moments ago.
No, it's just it's pouring rain here in Portland. I mean, I could be mad at everything, but I should be mad at myself first because we are going to finish 3rd in stage 1 and our Monster Energy Ford Mustang, and I overstepped the line and put us in the back. So then once you run with the squirrels in the back, you're going to get wrecked. And coming out of the chicane there, I kind of looks like the two just kind of hooked us there, and then I thought we were okay. It's kind of hard to see there, and then, I mean, just everybody wants to pile in, and then we got destroyed. But like I said, I can't be mad at anybody but myself because I put us back there from stage 1. So, man, we were having good runs going the last few months, and then all of a sudden, these last 2 weeks, we haven't finished where we wanted. So we'll take these 2 weeks to regroup and try to go win Nashville.
Thanks for your time, Riley.
Well, that was Riley.
Again, that was Riley Herbst following his accident, then later departure in stage 2. Took a big hit from the 6th car of Greg Gaulding off the restart that actually started stage 2. Not sure what turn the debris was out in. Again, I'm unable to listen to the actual race broadcast from my hotel room. A little bit different setup I'm dealing with here compared to my house and in my room where I'm usually doing these live commentary streams. So I'm not sure exactly where the debris was or who it came off of. There are quite a few cars with damage, considering we've seen a lot of cars go off track and have contact on restarts with how tight this racetrack is as well.
For the incident that happened under caution with race leader Ty Gibbs. But I want to go to another story that is starting to develop here. We got 8 laps to go.
I'm not sure what that was. I caught the end of it. I wanted to listen to it because that was some important information. So Jesse Wuji is getting black flagged by NASCAR for turning Ty Gibbs under the caution flag. Gibbs was able to hold this position. Rightfully so. But Iwuji getting parked by NASCAR. I didn't hear how many laps it was, but black flag by NASCAR sounds like multiple laps. Turning the race leader under the caution. I don't think it was intentional by Iwuji. He was coming off of pit road, and my guess is he was probably trying to get in front of the pace car, and Gibbs was behind the pace car because he was the leader, and he just wiped Gibbs out. It was at a point where pit road exit, he was in the pit road exit lane, but it meets turn 1 on the inside where Gibbs was. Definitely a little bit of a miscommunication from spotter to driver on the 34 team of Iwuji. Luckily, there's not heavy damage on the 54 car either. Was it payback? No. I don't think it was payback for anything. I don't know what they possibly... I don't remember those two having any sort of run-ins. I think it was just an inexperienced move by the 34. I don't think there was any intent. It was just the way the setup is at this road course, where the exit of pit, or most road courses where you have the access road leading into the first turn or maybe off the exit of a turn. At most road courses, in this case, it's leading into turn 1 on the inside, and just wiped him out under the caution. Lack of awareness from the 34 for sure, but he's being black flagged multiple laps by NASCAR. They were about to go green that time, and then the caution lights came back on the pace car as they were rolling off the exit of that final corner. So maybe there's some more debris on the racetrack around. Again, the track is slowly drying up. And yeah, the 13 car, Matt Jaskell, bringing out the debris. I think his right front tires just come apart during the caution flag, so that is the reasoning for the extended yellow. We'll have 7 laps to go when we go green in stage 2 at Portland. Guess Jesse couldn't slow down. I don't think so, because it was off the exit of pit road, so obviously when drivers exit the pit lane, they're gassing it up to get back up to speed. My guess is he saw the pace car, he thought he could beat the pace car out, and the pace car got clear, and Gibbs was right behind the pace car, and he clipped the pace car. Like, he wasn't even, or he didn't clip the pace car, he clipped Gibbs. That's my guess. He was probably thinking, well, if I get out in front of the leader, I can maintain my lap, but he was already multiple laps down. I think he was 2 laps down at the time anyway, so I don't even know what that was. Fuji has had some blunders this season in the Xfinity series, and this was probably the most major one of them. Burfer Express, welcome to the stream. 2 Toyotas and a ton of Chevys, yeah. Granted, there really are only 3 Toyotas that are competitive on a weekly basis in the Xfinity series, and they're all 3 the Joe Gibbs Toyotas. The other Toyotas in the field are J.J. Yaley, Parker Chase, and Patrick Emerly, so Matt Jaskol as well in the 13. And there aren't that many Fords in the field. We already mentioned Riley Herbst, Ryan C., Gilgraff Jr., and Spencer Pompelli are the only 4. Only 2 of those cars are competitive on a weekly basis. Darren Dilley also was in a Ford today. Fastest lap of the race is a minute 30.89 by Ty Gibbs. Almost a full minute faster than Brett Moffitt's fastest lap, which is the second fastest lap of the race. That's insane. Ty Gibbs again has led all but the first lap of the race today. It's been no contest. He extends that lead out to 10 plus seconds, and then we get a caution. And the more restarts we get, obviously, the more risk that Gibbs has of making a mistake there. We'll see how this restart will go. He almost lost the lead to Mosak. Gregson's in third. This is as close to the lead as he has been all day. Does he have anything for Gibbs? He struggled to get around around Mosak before the caution came out. But he'll be on the inside. It'll be Mosak on the outside of the front row of Gibbs on the restart. And as they head into the Geico restart zone, the green flag is going to be back in the air. Ty Gibbs will lead the field to the green. Will Gregson pull out and make a move? Gibbs is going to run a defensive line into turn 1, making sure that Gregson was not going to get alongside of him on the inside, but Gregson's going to get on the outside of Gibbs. Oh, and he nearly turns the 54. There is some cars that are spinning in the back. Brandon Jones spun. He's got heavy damage to the right side door, and a couple cars had to kind of cut that chicane in turn 1 to miss him. Well, I saw Austin Hill was one of those cars. At the front of the field, the 9 has just passed the 54 of Gibbs, and Gregson leads. Ty Gibbs is going to turn Gregson. Oh, no, he turns the leader. Gibbs is back in the lead. Gregson is spinning in the grass now in turns 5 and 6, and Sheldon Creed is running alongside the 54. Creed looking for the lead, a comeback after going wide into the grass in stage 1. Has a shot to win stage 2. Gibbs just sent Gregson into the grass, and Sheldon Creed is going to be the new leader. On to the next long straight now, between turns 8 and 9. Brett Moffitt's sliding around quite a bit. He'll lose a spot. Andy Lally is up to third in the 44. That is unbelievable. Now Gibbs should be black flagged. Well, it wasn't under a caution period, so I don't think he'll get black flagged for it. Oh, Creed is spun! Did Gibbs get into him too? They flashed to the replay right as we saw the 2 cars sitting in the grass. So the 18 and the 21 and the 68 and the 23 all had to go and miss the chicane in turn 1 on the restart after the 19 spun in traffic. Andy Lally is in the lead right now. And Ty Gibbs is nowhere to be found. Did he get black flagged? Gibbs is in 26th. He's still losing spots. Andy Lally leads at Portland with 6 laps to go in stage 2 and about 30 to go in the race. He went off wide into the grass earlier as well, lost a few spots. Obviously, he's in prime position now. I haven't seen a replay of what happened to Creed and Gibbs. Right as they showed the 2 car in the grass, they flipped to the replay on the restart of the turn 1 incident, and then Gregson spinning Gibbs. Gibbs spinning Gregson. So Gregson did run the 54 car wide. I don't know if he made contact with him or not. And that is probably what led to Gibbs just full sending Gregson in turns 5 and 6 right into the carousel. Mentioned it was Ty Gibbs' race to lose, and over-aggression on the restart. It cost to Gibbs. Gibbs went in the grass as well as Sheldon Creed in that final corner. I still missed what happened. Now the 51 cars turned in the opposite direction. Heavy damage on the 51. He got into the back of somebody. He's spewing water out of the front of the race car, as he has probably put a hole in the radiator with how much damage is on the front of his car. We'll see what happened to Clements now, middle of the pack. He had a car on his outside onto the long straightaway between 8 and 9. They head into the braking zone in turn 9, and he just lost it. Went in too hot, slid into the grass. I don't think he hit the wall. I think the grass is what put a hole in the radiator in the 51 of Clements. Nope, never mind. It was the 08. No, it wasn't the 08. Who hit him? Oh, the 45 car. So in turn 9, Clements went in hot, power slid into the grass. While we were showing that replay, Brett Moffitt just spun. My goodness. And that was because of contact off the front of Landon Castle. So Moffitt spun off of Castle's front bumper. There are so many cars with damage off of this restart. This is the most wildest thing I've seen in a rain race, potentially. And we're only in stage 2. Now the 45 car is just power sliding on the front straightaway. He was the one that clipped the 51 of Clements. It sheared the whole rear bumper cover off of his race car, and he likely has damage. It looks like his right rear tire is going down. So the right rear is starting to go flat on the 45. He's trying to get out of the way. Now he's in the grass. He can't even keep control of his car. Battle for the lead at the front of the field between Myatt Snyder and the 31 for Jordan Anderson Racing, the 44 of Andy Lally. Who would have thought it'd be Myatt Snyder, Andy Lally, and Landon Castle in the top 3 with less than 30 to go at Portland today? This is absolutely stunning. Now Allmendinger's in the grass. He was in 4th. What is going on? My goodness. AJ Allmendinger's in the grass from 4th place. Moving Mosak back to 4th. It looked like he went wide on his own. That's the 4th time he's been in the grass today, and the 3rd during the race. Myatt Snyder has just passed Andy Lally for the lead before heading into turn 9. Myatt Snyder leads at Portland. If he wins, a spot in the playoffs will be secured. Castle's closing in on the top 2 with them racing hard for the lead. 3 laps to go this time by in stage 2. Yeah, sorry I didn't get to the answer to that trivia question. I'll give it at the end of stage 2 because I don't want to miss anything here. This is non-stop action. All this drama started happening right about the time I was supposed to give the trivia question to you guys, the answer to it, and I kept getting sidetracked. And now Mike Snyder goes into the. He saved it. He didn't go in the grass. He was in the curb. But he definitely slipped wide, and Lally's back underneath him again. Talk about a survival of the fittest type atmosphere in this race today. Playoff point on the line as well here for these drivers. If any of them make the playoffs, of the ones that are running at the front of the field. Between Myatt Snyder, Andy Lally, and Landon Castle. And again, that battle for first has allowed Castle to quickly pull in. The top 3 are within a half a second of the lead. And now 4th place, Austin Hill has caught up to the top 3. Off of turn 12, 2 laps to go in stage 2. Who will take home the next green-white checkered flag of the race? Ariel Diaz, welcome to the stream. William Ayers, welcome. Hillbilly Deluxe, welcome. David Beebe, welcome. This is wild. You know the guy that changes tires for the 44? That's awesome. It looks like Snyder's pulled away on the second to last lap of stage 2. Slowly but surely, as Castle and Hill are struggling to get around the 44 of Lally right now. He's just trying to keep his track position. Again, no live pit stops during the stage breaks today and during caution, so the finishing order at the end of this stage will be the start of stage 3 no matter what. So that's why it's so important for these guys to get these spots, plus, of course, the stage points that are on the line with it. 3 more turns and then 1 final lap after that before the end of stage 2. Austin Hill gonna charge hard into turn 9. Dives it deep underneath the 10 of Castle. Cleanly makes the pass for 3rd place. Hill's locked into the playoffs after winning the season opener at Daytona. He wants a shot at playoff points. He's 1.9 seconds off the lead, but is he quick enough? He was at least back in stage 1 to get around the top 2 on the final lap of the stage. They are there. White flag. A little bit of a fender rub on the right front tire of Myatt Snyder's 31 car. Some smoke coming out of it as he was locking the brakes up that time to make it into turn 1, but I don't think it was a locking of the brakes that actually caused the tire rub. It looks like there's some damage on Snyder's car. Again, so many cars, too many to count, were making contact and spinning on that last restart. I don't think Hill's going to have enough time to get to Snyder, but he's all over the back bumper right now of Andy Lally. He'll have a few more corners to try to make the pass on him. Last lap is when he made the pass in turn 9 on Landon Castle. We'll see if that'll be the passing corner for Austin Hill on Andy Lally. I'm sure he's going to try it. Nope, he'll just sit in line behind Lally for now. And now we'll have 2 more turns to try and get around him before the end of stage number 2. Working their way off the final turn. He's not going to be able to get around him. At the front of the field, Myatt Snyder is going to win stage 2 at Portland. Andy Lally 2nd, Austin Hill 3rd, Landon Castle 4th, and Josh Berry, who qualified outside the top 20, has made his way up to 5th. Anthony Alfredo, the pole sitter, is 6th. Justin Allgaier 7th, Allmendinger 8th, Creed 9th, and Jade Buford rounds out the top 10 in stage 2. The drivers who led early in the stage of Ty Gibbs, Noah Gragson, and Connor Mosack, they were 1 through 3 on that last restart. Mosack is 17th, Ty Gibbs is 21st, and Noah Gragson is 18th. It's going to be fun to watch those 3 try to work their way through the field in the final stage when the time comes. This place is pretty flat and smooth. Extra smooth with the rain today. Been watching the race on TV since the start. Errol Hess, welcome to the stream. Just tuned in. Thanks. Hit that like button if you haven't already. That goes for all of you guys in the chat. Jensen Gal's watching the stream right now. Guess we'll get to listen in to the pit reports during the stage 2 break when Fox comes back from the commercial break. 50 laps down, 25 to go. A wild finish to stage 2. I can't even explain exactly what all happened, but I'll do my best. So on that last restart with 7 laps to go in stage number 2, Ty Gibbs restarted in the lead. Noah Gragson restarted inside of row 2 behind him, and on the outside of row number 1 was Connor Mosack in the 18. So Gibbs went with the defensive line into turn 1. He initially, as soon as they hit the start-finish line, went to the bottom of the racetrack, thinking that Gragson was going to try to take it 3 wide. While Mosack spun his tires on the outside lane, Gragson had the opportunity to go high into turn 1 instead of low and pull alongside the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Meanwhile, Mosack actually overran turn 1, cut the chicane in turns 1 through 3. He had to make a stop-and-go penalty. That's why he's back to 17th right now. And then that led Noah Gragson, Ty Gibbs, 1-2 at the front of the field. They were side-by-side going into turns 5 and 6. Gragson appeared to have maybe ran Gibbs a little wide. Not sure if they made contact or not, but he was racing hard, and if it was a clean pass, if he forced him wide, it was a clean pass nevertheless. Regardless of the fact, Gragson had pulled clear. 2 corners later, Gibbs punts the 9 of Gragson, sends him into the grass, giving Ty Gibbs the lead. Gibbs would then be in the grass after Sheldon Creed and him get together battling for the lead in turns 11 and 12, the finishing corners of the racetrack, which gave the lead to Andy Lally, who led a few laps before eventually, with a few laps to go in stage 1, Myatt Snyder took the lead from Andy Lally, getting the playoff point, winning stage number 2. And Andy Lally ended up in 2nd. Austin Hill has gathered himself back to 3rd. Landon Castle's in 4th right now, and Josh Berry rounding out the top 5. Unbelievable running order at the front of the field right now. Jaden Buford's in the top 10. Anthony Alfredo, who qualified poles, in 6th. I think we are going to get an underdog winner today with the favorites of Ty Gibbs and Noah Gragson basically wrecking each other on that last restart. And they stayed green through all of it because they were out of the way and in the grass, so there were no cautions for all those spins we saw there. Christian Heidenkamp, Wade Zielinski, welcome to the stream. For the race tomorrow, it's going to be a hot one. Wow, I did not see the temperature. I haven't really looked at it. I do know there's a chance of rain tomorrow. At least the last I checked as of like 24 hours ago. It was a 40% chance of rain. So if it's less than 50% in my eyes, that means it's more likely, and I mean by the stats, it's more likely not to rain than to rain. So we'll see. I've worked it out with my work that I can take off Tuesday if it does get rain to Monday. So I'm not too worried about it. I'll probably have to drive home after the race on Monday, though, which is going to be kind of rough because I got a 7-hour drive. So that race gets over at like 5:30. I'm probably not going to get home till like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, but at least I know I won't have to work that next day. They'll be coming in for pit stops very, very shortly. Once every car gets parked in their stall, there will be a 3-minute break period for these teams to change tires, make adjustments. Again, this is similar to the pit stops of the dirt racing procedures in NASCAR. The reason why that is the case this weekend for the Xfinity Series, because it's a standalone event. We've seen these with the truck and Xfinity Series standalone events in recent years. They don't have as many crew members because the Cup and truck teams are in Gateway this weekend. So again, no live pit stops during caution periods today for the Xfinity Series. They should be good on field at the end of the race following this. Austin Hill scores more stage points than anybody else in the field today with 17. Ty Gibbs, who won stage 1 earlier in the race and dominated up until that last restart, now outside the top 20. That was the 3rd stage win of the year for Gibbs and the 1st stage win of the year for Myatt Snyder. Snyder is 18th in points, 122 points below the cutoff line. That is more than 2 races below the cutoff line coming into today's race. Can he clinch a playoff spot? Pit stops in stage 2 right now.
How about that? His first stage win. The team happy with the car right now. No adjustments. They're going to put those slicks on like everybody else is doing out here. But the 31 has more road experience than most people in the field. So he's stuck to his plan. He's doing what he wanted and got that stage win. Jamie?
Also sticking to his plan is Andy Lally in the number 44. We saw him battling at the lead into the top 3, and the big communication to him at the stage break was that he still needs some more rear stability, so they are going to make a shock adjustment here. You can see that work being done right now. He also needs to get better drive off the corner, so he's going to get a track bar adjustment. Saw the yellow Goodyear logos up on the wall, looking to switch over to slicks right now. Andy said to the team, that's going to be a gutsy decision. He thinks it's still pretty wet on the backside, but they're going to make the call, Josh.
Let's talk about the 10 of Landon Castle. He kept asking over the radio if the track, if it's on the radar, it looks like it's going to rain again. They're going with the slicks as well. Feels comfortable with that. Now, this is a guy that only has one top 10 on a road course in his career, but he's in line to get another one. He said the key was patience for him going into this race. He's been patient and finds himself in good position right now, Jamie.
We've also seen Josh Berry move up through the field. He had to start at the back after changing the splitter after hitting the curb in qualifying. He alluded to this race as being like bowling. He said somebody's just going to lose it. The track is so slick, they're going to knock over all the pins. He's been able to capitalize on that, find his way up into the top 5 at this point. He was one of the first drivers to say to the team, give me some slicks. This track is drying off fast. I want to go out and fight. They've made that decision. A couple of adjustments, but overall he's happy with the car, Josh.
Speaking of being happy with their car, AJ Allmendinger not happy at the beginning of this race, had all the problems you can imagine, but he's found his way into the top 10, and with those slicks on, and as the track that is dried out, he's gotten stronger and stronger with the day. They wiped off the grill. They're taping up and putting some work in on the back of that car right now. You see some damage on the back right side of that, but otherwise things are getting better for AJ Allmendinger, guys.
But we see everybody.
Stage 2 break will be over for the teams to make adjustments, and they will roll off the pit road in less than 30 seconds. What a crazy Stage 2, and I'm sure an even crazier final stage en route to the finish will be coming up very shortly. A lot of teams will be taking slicks. There are some teams staying on rain tires. The 23. The 23 team of Anthony Alfredo looks like they're staying on rain tires. For those of you watching on the screen wondering how do I know whether they're on slicks or whether they're on rain tires, the rain tires have the white lettering of Goodyear on the sidewalls of the tires. The yellow lettering are the slicks, with the piece of tape on the side of it too on some of them. JR, welcome to the stream, Water Joe. Might be the first negative comment we've had in the chat so far today. You must not be liking the race so far. It's definitely a crapshoot. I can see where you're coming from. Charged, welcome to the stream. About 70 people watching right now. Again, like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Under a commercial break as of right now. 24 laps to go at Portland. A rain race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. This is where the strategy is coming into play, though. Some teams electing to go on slicks. Now, most of the track is still damp yet, but most of these teams still feel as if it is dry enough to race on slicks. It's going to be interesting to see how Anthony Alfredo is going to do. And if the rain ends up starting back up again, then you're likely going to see drivers and teams switch back to rain tires. But Anthony Alfredo keeping the rain tires, he is hoping it starts raining. That could give him the lead. Everybody having to make green flag pit stops. That'd be huge for that 23 team. Well, I understand why they don't have live pit stops this weekend. They've been doing that the last, I don't even know how many years for standalone Xfinity and Truck Series races, because most of the Xfinity and Truck Series pit crews pit on Cup cars. And because the Cup Series is in Gateway and it's at a standalone Xfinity Series event in Portland, all those teams are in Gateway this weekend pitting on the truck and the Cup cars. So the teams are undermanned for the Xfinity Series. Where it comes in handy, maybe more so for the big teams, like your Joe Gibbs Racing, probably Colleague Racing, and etc. With the big teams that probably have Cup teams too, they probably have more bodies that they could bring to the racetrack for these types of pit stops. Still not the regular crew, but maybe a little bit more experience than the smaller teams. Like the Jordan Anderson racing teams, like the Ryan Sieg's team or Jay Buford's team. Keith Campbell, welcome to the stream. First time on, cut the cord this week. Going old school like a radio broadcast. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy it. I had my mic facing the wrong way. Hopefully you guys heard me after I muted the TV following the pit stops during the Stage 2 break. But thanks for tuning in. Been a NASCAR fan since the 70s. Awesome, man. Long-time fan. Glad you're still in the sport. Again, if you are new to the channel wondering, if I do these on a regular, I don't always do them for the Truck and Xfinity Series races, but more often than not, I do them for the Cup Series. The difference is that I am at Gateway this weekend for the Cup race. So that is why I'm in a hotel room right now in St. Louis, giving you guys the commentary for the Xfinity Series race this weekend. Looks like an interview right now with the pit crew on the 27 team, I believe.
The car chief, Tucker Scanlon, down here making some decisions. Why not go to slicks right now?
I think it's still a little bit too wet
Car
out there
chief
for
Anthony
guys.
Alfredo.
If you get out of the groove where it's dried up, we're going to be out of luck, right? You're just going to get shoved out and then be on slicks and they're wet. I think wets are definitely the way to go.
All right, we're going green, guys.
And they will be going green this time.
Yeah, and they're both on slicks, but P3 Austin Hill is
my mute button's not working. There we go. Pace cars on pit road. Andy Lally will be on the inside for the restart. Myatt Snyder elects the outside. Nobody has done that from the lead today, though. This is the first time Snyder is going to lead to the restart. Close together are the 44 and the 31. How wide will they fan out this time? Green flag in the air. Snyder gets the launch. The 44 of Lally ends up spinning the tires on the inside quickly. Will pull into line behind the 31. 3x3 towards the middle of the pack in the back half of the top 10 and on back beyond them. 3 wide inside the top 10 between Justin Allgaier, Josh Berry, and and AJ Allmendinger. And Allmendinger going to gain 2 spots in turns 1 through 3 in the chicane off the front stretch to move up a couple positions over Allgaier and Berry. That moves AJ up to 6th. He's had a rough day. He's been off the course multiple times, but out of the drivers in good equipment at the front of the field, he is one of the leaders of them. Again, a lot of drivers on slicks right now on a still mostly damp racetrack, but it is drying out pretty quickly. The rain has settled down pretty much about midway through Stage 2 to this point now. Mostly overcast, but the sun is peeking through the clouds in certain areas of the track. Long and away goes the 31 of Myatt Snyder right now. Caution is out somewhere on the speedway. Debris. And Fox is showing a camera over top of the debris right now. And it looks to be on the main straightaway towards the entrance of turn 1. The field was rolling into the finishing corners through turns 9 through 12. So the caution ends up coming out to pick up that piece of debris before the field makes their way back into turn 1 this time. Which is unfortunate because Myatt Snyder was quickly pulling away from Andy Lally in the field on back. Anthony Alfredo moved up 2 positions to 4th on that restart. Again, he is on rain tires. The other driver's on slicks. Damper track for right now. That's going to work out for Alfredo, but the drier and drier the track gets, the more Alfredo's tires are going to really start to chunk and wear apart. And then the advantage will go to the slick tires, and they will be much faster if the track continues to dry. Forgot the trivia. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask as much as I can. So the trivia fact for tonight's stream was who was the first Xfinity Series, or who was the last driver to win an Xfinity race at Portland. And I actually have to look up the answer, because I don't even know it myself, but I figured that'd be a good question because the Xfinity Series has raced here before. And the last race was in the year 2000. I don't see it on here. Jeff Green, sorry. Nope, that was Pikes Peak. This might be the first time I think I've asked you guys a trivia question not knowing the answer myself, and I'm trying to look it up. I looked up Portland Racing Reference. Xfinity Series didn't show up. Go Portland Racing Reference. There we go. It doesn't show the Xfinity Series on here. It shows the Truck Series. Andy Houston and Greg Biffle have won here. Why doesn't it show the Xfinity Series races at the track? Do we not have an answer for the trivia question tonight? Xfinity Series has never been. So I basically asked you guys a question that there was no answer to, essentially. I had no clue the ARCA West Series raced there last season. Taylor Gray won. That's interesting. I had no clue Greg Biffle won here. He was my guy in the Cup Series growing up. Austin Hill coming back on the pit road to change tires again right now. He still has rain tires on the car. Now they're going to put slicks on, so he is going to lose a lot of track position. He had the ability to put slicks on that race car during the stage break. Felt that he was maybe chunking the tires apart and decides to throw on slicks after the restart. He was inside the top 10, so now he is going to be restarting well outside the top 10. And he'll be at the rear of the lead lap. 45 car of Stephen Parsons will get the free pass during the debris caution shortly after the restart and the resumption to stage 3. New with Joji, welcome to the stream. Oh. Chat got disconnected there for a second. I think I got you guys back, though. This is... the racing's not fixed. I do see what you're saying, though. I'm just going to say that the bigger teams have the advantage because they have more personnel in the... at the race shops on a weekly basis, and because they have bigger race teams and more money to have more people in the race shop, the extra people in the race shop are basically pitting the cars this weekend for those bigger teams. For the smaller teams, they have a lot of mechanics that are actually pitting the cars this weekend. A lot of the crew chiefs and car chiefs are actually pitting the cars this weekend for the smaller funded teams. They just talked to the car chief of the 23 of Anthony Alfredo's team, and he was having to pit the car during the stage break, and Alfredo is actually in 4th place right now. But again, the pit stops are not live, so it's not... And the only way it would be a huge advantage, and that is another reason why there are cautions too, is to try to even the playing field so there isn't that gigantic, gap between the big teams and the small teams when it comes to this style of pit stops when everybody is undermanned, but the smaller teams are even more undermanned. Because they can't advance positions with these breaks. So it keeps the 31, the 44 team from losing 12 plus spots on pit road because they don't have as many pit crew members. 3 minutes is plenty of time to try to make a minor adjustment to the race car. There's only so much you can do during the race itself anyway to make adjustments. 20 laps to go in the restart. This time Mike Snyder's going to elect the inside. He actually had success on the outside the last time, but he'll go back to the inside where most of the lane choosers have been on the front row for restarts at the front of the field. Lally will be on the outside, and the row 2 will be Landon Castle, Anthony Alfredo, with Castle on the inside. Right behind Snyder in row 2. Green flag back in the air. Lally did not take off on the restart. AJ Allmendinger for 5th. Will pull to the inside of Landon Castle. Trying to go 3 wide. Now he's underneath Lally for 3rd place. They're stacking up. There's a car spinning. Sheldon Creed's around. Oh my goodness. There's a huge mess in turn 1 right now. Sheldon Creed spun. And now he just piled into the back of Mosak's 18 car. Mosak had to go through a stop-and-go penalty in turn 1. And Creed ran into the back of him when he had to stop. Brandon Jones spun, as well as Daniel Hemrick in the 11 spun. All 3 of those drivers were in the top 10. Landon Castle's up to 2nd, Allmendinger to 3rd, and the driver who restarted in 2nd of Andy Lally is now back in 4th. Jeb Burton, heavy damage, sparks from underneath the left front of his race car. Creed's got heavy damage, probably can't even see with the hood smashed up against the windshield after running into the back of Mosak's car, who came to a full stop because he missed the chicane in turn 1 trying to miss the spinning cars. And when he stopped, Creed was gassing it up to get going after he had spun and ran right into the back of him. Caution's out on the speedway. There's a lot of debris, I'm sure. The 27 is now in the grass. He probably can't even see out of the windshield of his car. Plus, he had the damage underneath the left front. He was sparking, trying to make his way back to pit road. So Jeb Burton is stalled in the grass. Caution's out again. Sheldon Creed's day is going to come to an end with the heavy damage on his car. He's likely leaking fluids. Gigantic hole in the grill and in the radiator of the number 2 Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. And Creed's rough take is going to come to an end, it looks like. Trying to see how the 2 spun out. There were other cars that spun out of Hemrick and Jones behind him, but I think they spun out just trying to check up on the slick tires in the wet. You got a lot of these drivers on slicks right now. Very few are still on rain tires. There's so many cars in the picture. It was tough to tell if the 2 had any help that caused him to spin or if he just locked it up. And Creed actually ran into the back of Alex LeBay in the 36. It was not Mosak who had to come to a complete stop and got ran in the back of it. It was Alex LeBay in the 36 car who had stopped in the chicane, underneath the chicane, after having to blow through it, missing all the spinning cars. And Creed got in the back of him. Pandemonium at Portland this afternoon. Sheldon Creed has walked out of his car and he has given the bird to Jade Buford. Buford might have gotten into the back of the 2 car, causing Creed to spin. I would have to assume is why Creed is upset with Buford in the 48. There is damage on the front of Buford's race car, so that is possible. Although the back bumper of the 2 looks as if it's fairly clean. Like it was a pretty harmless tap, but it doesn't take much in the rain, especially with the cars on slicks. There are dry spots on the racetrack, which is why most of the teams are on slicks right now. Push truck still trying to get the 27 of Jeb Burton out of the grass. Not sure what area of the racetrack he is on right now. If I had to guess, it's probably around turn 9. But he is way off into the grass. They're showing the replay again. Chain reaction of events seem to have spun the 19 and the 11 cars out further back in the pack. Kind of getting sandwiched between cars who were checking up for Creed, who spun. Creed flipped. Yeah, he was flipping the bird to Jade Buford in the 48 car. Just watching Richmond history. Yeah, I saw Jeremy Mayfield was on the Dale Jr. download. I listened to a couple of those videos on my way here earlier today, actually. Interesting stuff. He was on the NASCAR Weekly podcast, I think sometime last year. I remember him talking about some of his controversies revolving around NASCAR and its drug policy and that whole ordeal in the late 2000s. The race pace itself, pretty slow considering the slower lap times in the rain today. And the fact that it's a 75-lap race, which is pretty long for a road course in the Xfinity series. But with it being a standalone event is probably the reason why, because I think this is actually the same length they ran at Mid-Ohio last year too. 9 cautions on the day now. So yeah, there was definitely fluid on the racetrack, which I'm not surprised, probably from the 2 of Creed. Had a lot of damage on his car. The 27 ended up getting stuck in the grass anyway, so it looked like they were going to end up having to get a caution for him, even if there wasn't any fluid. Probably another half a lap or so later. That caution took place at lap 55, and the free pass, I believe, will go to Joe Graff Jr. in the 07. 9 cautions in today's race, 7 for incident. And there's been a lot of incidents that have not been recorded for under cautions. Wyatt Snyder still the leader. Slicks will be going on the 23 car of Anthony Alfredo, who had rain tires after the Stage 2 break. And then also stayed out of the pits during the last caution. Now, Austin Hill, I believe, missed that entire Carnage. And he had shuffled up 8 spots in the running order after that restart. Pitted for slicks. He was in the top 10, had rain tires on like Alfredo did, but he pitted during the last caution, which came out for debris the first lap following the restart to Stage 3. So a lot of caution laps starting to blend together now, and we are running out of green flag laps to run to the end of this race. And if they go green this time, and if they have cleaned the track up enough, we will have 16 laps to go in the restart. Lights are on the pace car. They're single file, so they... Sorry, there's 16 to go, not 17. Fox's leaderboard was not up to par. Oh, now it's back to 17. I don't know what's going on here. It was at 17, then it was at 16. Now it's back to 17 again. I swear I'm not seeing things. Looks like the Air Titans are out on the racetrack right now. I think they're just trying the best they can to try and clean up the fluids that were being left on the racetrack. It's probably a lot harder to do that. You can't lay Speedy Dry down with the wet, so they're probably just running the Air Titans through that backstretch right now where the fluids could have been down and where Sheldon Creed had stalled out between turns 8 and 9 on that second longest straightaway of the racetrack, other than the main straight. Cut holes to let air in the tires of the 23? That's interesting. Again, I usually, when I'm set up at my house doing the live race commentary, I can listen to the race in my ear so I know a little bit of what's going on. So sorry if the commentary is not completely perfect today for that reason. That's what happens when you're on the road. That I'm obviously angled a lot different, which is why you see me looking to the side this entire time because of where the TV's at in this room. And where the desk is at. The TV was on a bit of a swivel, so I was able to turn it so I could at least see it, but camera's not obviously centered with it. So again, these teams are going to be good on field at the end of the stage. They do not have to pit, and obviously the track position is important in road course racing in any sport, in motorsports. Ty Gibbs is back inside the top 10. He's up to 8th place. Remember, he dominated the very start of this race, leading laps 2 through 43 before losing the lead after going off track with contact with Sheldon Creed shortly after he had spun the 9 of Noah Gragson out. Gragson also back inside the top 10 in 9th. So Noah Gragson's back up to 9th place. I believe he fell back to 18th after getting spun by Gibbs, and then Gibbs was back outside the top 20 after being in the grass in the middle of turns 11 and 12 earlier. Myatt Snyder continues to lead. He's been nailing these restarts late in this race. Credit to him for putting himself in position. Had a great day before the leaders ahead of him all took each other out. Was running in the back half of the top 5, middle of the top 10 from pretty much early stage 2 on, and has himself in this position. If he keeps nailing these restarts, may have a shot to win this race. He was 18th in the point standings coming in. Only the top 12 make it to the Xfinity Series playoffs. Still 12 races to go after this one today before the Xfinity Series starts their playoffs, but only 5 spots are open right now. 7 different winners from full-time Xfinity Series regulars that are already locked in. Obviously, Snyder not one of them. Looking for a spot today. Landon Castle, another driver without a win this year, in second. I don't think Andy Lally is running for points this year in the Xfinity Series. Let me check just to make sure. I don't believe he is, though. If he is and he wins, then obviously he can get in too. I don't think he is, though. I don't see him anywhere on here. I believe he's just running the road courses as usual. Yeah, so if Andy Lally wins, he will not be in the playoffs. If the 44 car is running full-time in the Xfinity Series, then if he wins, then the 44 team will actually qualify for the playoffs in the owner standings. Look for the number. Alpha Prime Racing, 29th. He's in the top 30. Actually, now that I think about it, I think you have to be in the top 20 in the Xfinity Series with the win, don't you? Or is it top 30? I think Trucks and Xfinity might be top 20. And then it's top 30 in the Xfinity, in the Cup Series. So they might not qualify for the playoffs because they can make up points because they're about 70 out of 20th. And obviously if they win today, that's going to be a lot of points. Finished second in stage 2, so he scored a lot of stage points also. Not going to make them all up today, but he can make most of them up. The problem is, one of the drivers he's trying to catch in the owner standings is Jordan Anderson Racing's 31 car, and that's the one who's leading right now. So maybe he won't make up as many points. Am I watching live? Yeah, I'm watching it live. It's not recorded because I'm at my hotel room, so it would have to be live. Don't count out the dinger. This is true. Lurking right there in third. He won a rain race at the Roval a couple of years ago. Has a win at Portland in kart back in 2006. Very up and down day. Started the race over half a lap down after going wide on the pace laps at the start of the race, cleaning grass off the grill on the opening green flag lap. And by the time they got that cleaned up, he was nearly a lap down by the end of stage 1. stayed on the lead lap in front of Ty Gibbs and has himself in position now. Here's an interview with Sheldon Creed.
You had for the 48 of Jay Buford. What happened on the racetrack?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we had an okay day going. I made a mistake running second there. Drove back to the lead. And I don't know if the 54 got me or if we both just spun together. Yeah, and here's the 48. Just, I don't know. But, I mean, we've gone through there so many times and just go straight. I get rolling here, and I'm looking left, and the 36 just stops in front of me. So, yeah, the way my year's gone, every time we have speed, something goes wrong. So, hats off to my wheeling guys. Everyone at RCR has been working really hard to make our cars faster, and yeah, today I feel like we had a really good shot at winning. So, frustrated that a RCR Alliance car drives through us like that and kind of takes us out of it. So.
Frustrating way to end the day. Thank you, Sheldon.
That's the third finish outside the top 25 for Sheldon Creed in the last 4 races. He's having a rough stretch of it, and that is why he is below the cutoff line as of right now. This is a team that won the Xfinity Series Championship just a few years ago with Tyler Reddick. And actually was in the playoffs last year with Myatt Snyder driving for him as well. Austin Hill locked in this year, but Creed has just not been able to find his way in these Xfinity Series cars. A former Truck Series champion moving up to run Xfinity full-time for the first time in his career as a rookie. And he's definitely earning those rookie stripes this season. Here is an interview with Jeb Burton outside the Infield Care Center.
It's pretty crazy. We had a decent day going. The first stage, I made a mistake. We should have got stage points. We finished 11th. And the next stage, I think I was running 10th and tried to get just a little bit and hit the curve and spun out. And then there at the end, I think they were wrecking, getting into one, and I got into the water and wheel hopped and just couldn't stop. It kind of crazy because you think it's dry and then you try to make a move and then it's too late. Just hate it for our guys, our first DNF, and we had a special paint scheme this weekend with Robb Elementary and all the victims there, so praying for their families, and we got 2 weeks off, and we'll try to go get them in Nashville.
All right, thank you, Jed.
Yeah, it's
Jeb Burton just mentioned the next Xfinity Series race won't be until Nashville in 2 weeks. Cup Series also off in a couple weeks on Father's Day weekend, after they get done with Sonoma next weekend. Lights are out in the pace car. This time they'll be going green with 13 laps to go when they get back to the start-finish line on the main straightaway. So again, 13 laps to go when we go green. A lot of the favorites, or the heavier hitters in the Xfinity Series, have actually survived these accidents at the beginning of Stage 3. And they're mostly rounding out the top 10 right now, excluding 3 of the top 4 of Myatt Snyder, Landon Castle, and Andy Lally. Can they hold on and keep the big dogs behind them? There's still 13 laps to go, which on a road course, that is plenty of time. It's all going to depend on how many more green flag laps we get, though, because this final stage has been caution-filled, to say the least. Pace car will be pulling onto pit road this time, and the green flag is about to be in the air as they'll be heading into the Geico restart zone. Myatt Snyder elects the inside lane for the restart. Landon Castle will be on the outside lane on row 1. Inside row 2, AJ Allmendinger. Outside row 2, Andy Lally. Green flag in the air. Snyder gets the launch. Castle with a pretty good run on the outside. AJ Allmendinger could not take it 3 wide underneath Myatt Snyder as Snyder nails the restart, but he's going to miss turn 1. He wheel hops it, slides into the 10 car, who tried to miss him on the inside, and AJ Allmendinger's going to be in the lead off of turn 3. Allmendinger leads, 1 car nearly gets turned and now gets sent around, and that's Brett Moffitt. They're all crashing in the back of the pack. The 18 slides into Moffitt in the grass. Connor Mosack, a few other cars have heavy damage. The 26 and the 4 get together. AJ Allmendinger leads. NASCAR's going to keep it green to see if those cars can get unstuck from the grass. If they cannot, we'll see a caution, but for now they stay green and the race is on. Myatt Snyder in second. He had a great restart but carried too much speed into turn 1. The disadvantage of being the leader in a dampened racetrack, especially on slicks, is that the track is not going to be dry. You're going to be the first one to head through there, and then everybody can follow your tire tracks from behind. And a couple of those cars that crashed in between turns 3 and 4 are still stuck. The 23 of Anthony Alfredo is still spinning in the grass. He's got heavy damage as well. And we have another caution with 13 to go following a restart in stage 3. AJ Allmendinger didn't really completely nail that restart, but was just in the right place at the right time. And obviously the 31 of Myatt Snyder made the mistake. Spencer Pompelli has heavy damage to the 0-8 car. He's going to try to find an open area to pull off the racetrack. More cars with severe damage. There were a lot of issues in the IndyCar race last year from what I remember, from drivers missing turn 1 on the restarts, and that is the case in the Xfinity Series today as well. Obviously the wet weather only enhances those mistakes a bit more. All the underdogs we've seen up towards the front of the field in the second half of this race, and now AJ Allmendinger has found himself back to the front from the rear at one point in time. And he'll have the lead coming to the next restart once everything gets cleaned up. It looked like Brandon Brown in the 68 was the one that turned Brett Moffitt in that short shoot between turns 3 and 4. Snyder did a great job not undercutting the corner. It actually looked like Noah Gragson missed turn 1, had to go to a stop and go, but because of all the carnage, it actually helped him miss the wreck. He remains in 9th place according to our leaderboard. Ty Gibbs slotted up to 7th. And he had the faster car in the field earlier today. Does he have enough time to get through those cars in front of him? The more restarts we have, the better chance for Ty Gibbs. He's running out of green flag laps, but if he can keep gaining positions on the restarts, maybe he can find a way. Turn 1 is a beast, yeah. A little bit of both, Keith Campbell, due to weather or bad driving. I think these teams, though, are losing it because the track is still damp enough on those slick tires. It's damp enough on the slick tires that they're having troubles trying to get the car slowed up in turn 1. And once one car spins, because of the traction control, they just kind of slide into each other. Now, this instance, with the wreck happening in the short chute between 3 and 4, it looked like Moffitt tried to pull a block on Brandon Brown, wasn't clear, and practically turned himself. It didn't look like Brandon Brown changed his driving lane at all, middle of the straightaway. I don't think Moffitt knew he was there, or he thought he could block him in time, and it was just a bad block which caused that wreck. But all the incidents we're seeing in turn 1, like on that second to last restart where we saw a couple spins, I think that has to do with the traction control down there. It's slowly getting dried up, but it's mainly just the one lane that's dry. So when they're going 2, 3, 4 wide on the restarts down there, there's still 2 to 3 lanes that are wet to damp. We know these rain races to be crazy in motorsports. This is definitely another one of those cases again today. 92 people currently watching in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. It looks like the rain is starting to come down again, and most of these teams are on slicks. We'll see how that pays off. Our crew chief with AJ Allmendinger standing right now with a Fox Reporter.
Today didn't start off very good, but I told him just battle back. It's a long race, long way to go. Anything can happen to these tracks. And yeah, to the point, it looks like the rain is starting to fall again. Everybody out there's got slick tires on, so we'll kind of see what happens over these next, I think there's 10 to go. So, you know, just kind of keep battling adversity. We've had a lot of fun today, a lot of moving parts and people, so just kind of keep it out front and hope for the best here.
Thanks for your time and good luck the rest of the way. Jamie?
Well, what we heard in that interview was the rain is starting to fall just a little bit. I am in Justin Allgaier's pit, and the word to him on the radio from his crew chief, Jason Burdett, was, you're going to have to make the call. You're going to have to tell us what you want. They have pushed up a set of wet tires. I'm going to have Michael Erickson, my cameraman, shift down here to the ground. Look at this puddle. That's how much rain is falling right now. It's not a lot, but it's more than what we've had for the last 30, 40 minutes or so. So could get interesting. It could stay pretty dry, but we're just going to have to wait and find out.
So, yeah, I was able to tell for that interview even before that she had mentioned that it was starting to rain again, that you could see on the camera that it was raining again, at least on the front stretch. Most of these teams, if not all these teams, have slick tires right now. And as the track gets more and more damp, it's going to be harder and harder to run on slick tires, so the rain tires may be the way to go. They are under caution right now, still cleaning up debris all over the racetrack. Multiple cars were dragging damage in parts and pieces and spreading it sporadically throughout the track. So there's a safety truck right now at long backstretch waiting to pick up the piece of debris as the cars roll by under the caution. They're going to have less than 10 laps to go by the time everything gets cleaned up and they go green again. No, we're good. The radar is all green. Like green meaning rain. AJ Allmendinger is on pit road. He's going to be changing back to rain tires. And a lot of the field coming down with him. Of course, Allmendinger was in the lead. Now, these are live pit stops. I do believe that the positions here could change. I might be wrong. I don't know. It's not a red flag condition during the stage breaks like earlier. It looks like a couple cars stayed out of the pits. Jade Buford and J.J. Yaley stayed out. Everybody else came to pit road behind those two. So they'll be 1 and 2 on the restart. Unless they end up deciding to take rain tires maybe another lap after the caution. That would stink if that's the case for Buford because he was in the top 10. He's got heavy damage on his race car. And honestly, J.J. Yaley's number 16 MVM car looks fairly clean. Ty Gibbs just won the race off of pit road. Again, I'm not sure if that will be the running order or not. Can't listen to it in my ear, unfortunately, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on right now. Old Larry McReynolds reference due to losing a race. Bad radar leading. Gotcha. Yeah, that flew over my head. Josh Berry's still on pit road right now trying to repair damage right around the left front fender. On top of putting the rain tires back on the number 8 machine. Berry made his way back up to the top 5 before pitting there. So may have to wait for the leaderboard to become more accurate following the pit stops there. Fox is going to be going to a commercial break side by side right now. So the leaderboard you're seeing on our screen on the channel, probably not correct for the time being. So I'll wait to take a rundown of the running order. I would like to take another full field rundown of the order during the stage break. Well, during the caution in the middle of stage 3. Especially with the shuffling of order we've seen on these late race restarts. We have not had a full lap of green flag racing in the final stage yet. Each stage was 25 laps in length. No green flag laps in the final stage so far, as we've had 3 yellows back to back to back to start the stage on the opening lap following the restarts. Almost 100 people watching right now. Hit that like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as you're watching the inaugural Pacific Office Automation 147 live on KRC. Picture on Fox Sports 1 for those of you wondering what channel the Xfinity Series race at Portland is on. It has been a rainy, dreary day in Portland, Oregon so far. From the drop of the green flag, it has been raining. The rain let up at the start of Stage 3. A lot of teams decided to take slick tires, and then the rain started pouring during the middle of this caution period right now, following that last restart with about 13 to go. So a lot more teams came to take those slicks off, put new rain tires back on. But with that being said, a couple cars stayed out and are still on slicks. Jade Buford, J.J. Yaley will be first and second on the restart. And actually, looking at Jade Buford's race car, he has rain tires on already. J.J. Yaley's on slicks, but Buford is on rain tires. The interesting thing with Jade Buford on those rain tires means that he probably kept those on during the stage break, which is why he is out in front now. That he just never took them off. Or changed the tires at the end of Stage 2 for more rain tires and did not change the slicks originally. I'm not sure if he has had any chunking going on. Maybe his tires are a bit more worn out. Obviously, he's got damage to the front of the race car. Aerodynamically, that's going to slow that car up quite a bit, especially in the high-speed areas of the racetrack on those few long straightaways at Portland. Oh, this won't end well, bad JJ. Yeah, JJ's on slicks. I think literally everybody else in the field has rain tires except for JJ Yaley in second has slicks still. I have a bad feeling he's going to miss turn 1. Hopefully he doesn't spin in front of the field and that he just kind of goes wide and misses and has to take a stop and go and the rest of the field gets by. I'm sure everybody wants to see some green flag racing to the end of this race. All the caution laps we've ran in this final stage. 10 cautions total in the race today. So many yellows to the point where the average race speed is only 54.91 miles an hour. Put in perspective of fast times in today's race, some of the fastest lap times from the fastest cars in the field have been over 85 mile an hour lap averages. So we are running over 35 miles per hour slower of an average race speed compared to some of the fastest lap times we've seen in today's race with the yellows. Again, it's only a 75 lap race, which is long for a road course, especially more so by Xfinity Series standards, because typically the Xfinity and Truck Series races are much shorter. Because of this race going long with all the cautions that we have had so far today, the NASCAR 21 Ignition live stream at Road America will be pushed back 1 hour. So we'll be starting that at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which would be 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, this race is going a bit long, and I'm going to have to give myself something to eat between streams. So we'll still be running that race tonight, doubleheader still, but I need to make sure I get something to eat. We'll see more restarts, possibly 10 extra laps. I don't want to completely just not do that second race tonight. Rain's still falling. Looking at the puddles on pit road right now. standing water, and you can see that there are drops starting to pick up. Just a steady, almost like a heavy sprinkle, if that makes any sense. Seth Thomas, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Busher out tomorrow. Zane Smith will be in, making his Cup Series debut. Yeah, a lot of the cars at the front of the field don't have a lot of damage except for race leader Jade Buford. And again, Buford is in the lead because he never took his rain tires off, for slicks at least, during the stage break. So he stayed out. He's still on rain tires. J.J. Yaley, though, on slicks still, decided to stay out, but it is still raining. So I'm not entirely sure that J.J. Yaley is going to be able to hold on, but we'll see. Slicks can be faster if there are dry spots on the racetrack and Yaley can find those dry spots. And I'm talking about 15 seconds a lap faster, so we'll see how it's going to pay off. And we'll also see if they can make it through the first turn without an accident this time. Or the first few turns without an accident this time. They got to the short chute of 3 and 4 before seeing that last caution come out. 7 laps to go on the restart. Jade Buford trying to pull off the upset. Myatt Snyder, who won stage 2, still up there. He'll be on the outside of row 2. Allmendinger inside row 2. I'm sure he is going to gun it on this restart. He made a pass for the lead from 3rd on the last restart. Can he do it again? Into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Jade Buford will lead the field to the green with 7 to go at Portland. Snyder going to go to the outside of the 66 of J.J. Yaley. They're 4 wide for the lead into turn 1 as the 31 goes to the outside, the 16 to the outside lane, and there are like 3 or 4 cars spinning in the short chute. Side by side for the lead at the front of the field between Myatt Snyder and A.J. Allmendinger. There were probably 5 or 6 cars that had spun in the chicane through turns 1 and 2. Myatt Snyder, who took 4 wide to the outside. It worked for him. He's in the lead. Allmendinger, who went 4 wide to the bottom, is in second, right on his back bumper. And Buford hanging in there in 3rd, but he is smoking. He's got a tire rub, likely around the right front. Maybe the right rear as well. He's likely going to end up having to pit this time by if he can make it to pit road. We continue to stay green. Side by side for the lead again. Caution is out on the speedway. Snyder was in the lead when the caution had come out. Debris all over the racetrack following more damage from turn 1 on that last restart. Another yellow. Heavy damage on Landon Castle's number 10 Voyager Chevrolet. A Storm X Voyager on the back. He is dragging some parts, and he'll have to come down to shear the rest of it off. .44, the 10, and the 7 spun. The 9 of Gregson had nowhere to go, stopped, and then got ran into from behind. Myatt Snyder got to the lead before the caution waved. They let him race for about a half a lap before they threw the yellow for debris. Still no green flag laps have been ran in the final stage. They're going to have to at least get one in because the race can only end under yellow if they get to the white flag. Should have a few more laps to go by the time we get to the next restart. Probably 2 or 3 to go without having to go to overtime. Myatt Snyder, A.J. Allmendinger, 1-2. Jade Buford in 3rd. Josh Berry 4th. Brandon Brown rounds out the top 5. Austin Hill 6th. Daniel Hemrick 7th. Ryan Sieg 8th. Ty Gibbs 9th. J.J. Yaley rounds out the top 10 right now. They'll be coming to 5 laps to go this time by. Who will pit? Who will stay out? If any. I would assume the rain is still falling. It was 4 wide for the lead into turn 1 on the restart. Allmendinger from the inside row 2 went to the bottom outside row 2. Snyder went to the outside of the 48 and the 66 who restarted in the lead. They all got sandwiched. They actually made it through, but it was the cars behind them who started to spin as Justin Allgaier in the 7 got clipped from behind. He was right around 5th or 6th. And then a few other cars spun after getting hit from behind in a chain reaction of events trying to check up for the spinning 7 at a parking lot in the chicane between turns 1 and 3. Robert Perkle, welcome to the stream. Chicane don't work for these cars? They do, because they weren't wrecking earlier in the race. They're just over-aggressive at this point in the race. We've seen this with the Xfinity and Truck Series races before, where there's just over-aggression on the restarts that causes this to happen. So our 11th caution of the race. And this free pass is going to go to Josh Williams. Jay Buford will pit. Mentioned he had some tire rubs before that caution came out when he fell back to 3rd. Got sandwiched even more with the damage he already had on the car when they went 4 wide for the lead. So they'll be buffing the fenders off that 48 car and he'll go to the tail end of the lead lap. JJ Yaley fell back to 10th. See if he pits for rain tires at all. Lally, Allgaier on pit road to try and repair some damage. Lally, another one of those cars that spun on that restart. Had a great day going for him. Now he'll be at the tail end of the lead lap on this potential final restart. Shout out to Scott Heckard in the top 10. He's been there pretty much all stage. And here is an interview.
Anderson, this Chevrolet, I'm just doing a great job today. I'm just telling him to hit his mark.
This is Myatt Snyder's crew chief,
He's a
Shane
heck of a road
Whitbeck.
racer. I'm just really proud of everybody getting this car together. And hopefully the rain comes a little bit to help cool these tires back down. We have to decide what we're doing. And just everybody's doing a really good job here at Jordan Anderson Racing.
Thanks for your time and good luck the rest of the way.
There were so many questions for these crew chiefs going
Nathan Elliott,
into
welcome
today.
to the stream. 100 people watching right now on this live stream. See if we can set the record for the Xfinity Series. Which I've only done one Xfinity race this year, and that was at Martinsville. And that one was a Wreckfest too. So coincidentally, the only 2 Xfinity Series races I've done live commentary for this year have been Wreckfest. I think that's fitting. Maybe the ones I do going forward, maybe they'll be like that too. Not the way I had hoped this to go, but you had to imagine with the rain that something like this was bound to happen. So we've just had cautions spaced out sporadically. The cleanup crew did a great job cleaning the track up as quickly as they could. There will be 4 laps to go when they go green, so not a green-white checker or overtime situation. But we'll see if they can get to the white flag before potential another caution. Row 1 will be Myatt Snyder and AJ Allmendinger, with Snyder electing the inside lane for the restart, as most of the leaders have done today. In fact, Snyder was the only one that didn't elect the inside of one of the restarts, and he still got a good launch on the top. Row 2 is going to be Josh Berry on the inside, trying to go for back-to-back wins in the Xfinity Series this season, and Brandon Brown alongside him. In Row 3, Austin Hill and Daniel Hemrick. Hill pitted, but has missed all the carnage and has worked his way up to 5th. 4 to go. Pace car onto pit road, and we'll see if we can make it this time. Into the Geico restart zone for potentially the final time. Myatt Snyder will control the pace on the inside. Green flag back in the air. Drag race down into turn 1 with the 31 and the 16. Pretty big gap behind those two, with Berry and Brown stacking up the cars behind them. Nobody really fanning out to go 3 wide unless they're at the very back of the pack. And they'll be able to make their way through turns 1 and 3. Oh, spoke too soon. Big slide from Brandon Brown, but he was able to save it. He does lose about 3 or 4 positions. But he did make a save. No spin. Contact between the 31 and the 16 through turns 5 and 6. Snyder on the outside. Allmendinger on the inside. Allmendinger doors him all the way through the corner. Into the chicane. Will Snyder get him back? As of right now, that is not the case, but he is hanging close to the 16 car for the time being. Much wider corner entry for Myatt Snyder, trying to round the corner off through turn 7. Now into turn 8, and they'll head to the next long straightaway. Spinner in the back of the pack again through turn 7 and 8. Still green flag at the front of the field. Somebody is smoking towards the middle to the back of the pack. Might be a tire roll rather than somebody who's spun out, but there's quite a bit of smoke in the middle of the pack right now. Can't tell who that is coming from. Allmendinger will lead the opening lap of the restart, and we finally have a green flag lap in the final stage. 3 laps to go now. Does anybody have anything for AJ Allmendinger? Maybe Austin Hill, who qualified towards the front of the field earlier today. He passes Josh Berry out, breaking him into turn 1 and making the pass for 3rd. Hill less than 2 seconds off the race lead. The 31 struggling for grip right now as he had power slid off the exit of turn 3. Is pushing for all intents and purposes, trying to get another shot to get to AJ Allmendinger. 0.7 of a second separate the top 2, and about 1.9 seconds separate first through third. Allmendinger leads. Daniel Hemrick in the top 5, and J.J. Yaley on slicks is still holding on in 6th place right now. Restarted in 10th and actually gained a few spots with a bit of a stack up in turn 1 after Brandon Brown slid wide but was able to hang on to his race car. Brown has fallen outside the top 10 and is back to 14th. Allmendinger slowly gapping the 31 of Snyder behind him. Snyder in a must-win situation if he's going to want a shot in the playoffs. By the way, the playoff standings look for right now, middle of the regular season. Allmendinger doored him a couple corners in a row. And a little Rubbins racing action didn't completely dump him. He kept him on the racetrack, but he used him up and got around him. Not wanting to waste any time. 2 laps to go for AJ Allmendinger. And he's 2 mistake-free laps from getting the win. Austin Hill pretty even with Allmendinger that last lap on speed. He definitely closed the gap on Snyder just a bit. But I don't think 2 laps is going to be enough for Austin Hill to be able to catch AJ. Can they get to the white flag before another potential caution? If they do get to the white flag, the next flag will end the race, whether it's the yellow or the checker. Track is mostly dry now. Most of these drivers still on rain tires. Except for the 66, who's hanging on to 6th place with Ty Gibbs right behind him. Gibbs still has heavy damage to the front of his race car. Justin Allgaier sends it underneath Gibbs, side by side for 7th place. And the 66 holding them both up. They're going to fan out 3 wide going into turn 8. They cleared the 66 of Yaley. Now it's side by side into the corner between Allgaier and Gibbs will hold on, making the pass for 6th place. At the front of the field, the white flag will be in the air. 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank for AJ Allmendinger, who now has about a 5 to 6 car length gap over Myatt Snyder, little over a 1 second race lead. And was a bit quicker than Austin Hill in 3rd that last lap again as well. And Hill actually lost time to Snyder on that second to last lap in his hunt for 2nd place. Allmendinger pretty used to winning these rain races in the Xfinity Series, and it looks like he is on his way to another one if he can hold on for another half a lap. J.J. Yaley still trying to hang on to a top 10 position in 9th. Gregson has just passed him for 8th. Steiner not really closing on A.J. Allmendinger. On to another long straight between turns 8 and 9. There will be 3 corners to go for the Dinger. You'll get to hear any post-race interviews from any of the drivers following the conclusion of this race today. One more corner to go for A.J. Allmendinger off of turn 12. The checkered flag will be in the air. Allmendinger is a winner in the Xfinity Series premiere at Portland. Second place will be Myatt Snyder, Austin Hill third, Josh Berry fourth, and Daniel Hemrick will round out the top 5. Ty Gibbs will finish in 6th. Justin Allgaier got up to 5th place on that final lap. Daniel Hemrick finished 6th. Then it was Ty Gibbs finishing 7th. J.J. Yaley got back around Gregson for 8th. Gregson finishes 9th. And Alex LeBay rounds out the top 10. A.J. Allmendinger has won. Topsy-turvy day for Allmendinger. Went off course 4 times, including once before the race started. But has found his way to victory lane once again this season. It's the 2nd win of the year for Allmendinger. He only has 1 finish outside the top 10 this season. It's been a very consistent year. He is the regular season points leader. And he'll add on to that regular season points lead with the win today. 8 wins in the Xfinity Series on road courses. It is the most all-time. Also has more stage wins than anybody else on road courses and more top 5s on anybody than road courses in just 20 starts on road course races in his Xfinity Series career. And Allmendinger fought through the adversity. He got the win today, and I'd say he deserved it. Led just 6 laps, and it was the final 6, but it was the most important 6. As we went on to having just 7 different leaders in today's race, for a total of 11 lead changes, 11 cautions, average race speed of 54.8 miles an hour. And despite all the cautions, no overtime finish today, and the final 4 laps were the only green flag laps of the final stage. On the main straightaway, A.J. Allmendinger currently doing his victory burnout celebration in front of the crowd at Portland. And again, you guys will get to hear his interview as well as others before Fox goes off the air. And then we'll take a rundown of the full field results before ending the stream. And then I'll see you guys in about a little over another hour for the second race of our doubleheader tonight. Allmendinger running over to his crew to give him a big hug. Matt Colley joining in the hug party. Oscar Ramirez Herrera, welcome to the stream. See you in the chat there at the very end. No problem. Again, like it, subscribe on your way out for more daily NASCAR content. Live race commentary and more. The goose is loose. Welcome to the stream. Want to see BJ McLeod win a race before I die? Should be that hard to ask. Here's AJ Allmendinger's interview.
Describe this win. Oh my God. All the men and women at College Racing deserve that. I was awful. I cannot believe I crashed before we went green. I was off the racetrack, I think 4 times. Made all kinds of mistakes. Was all over the place. But it's. Oh, sorry. We got to go race again tomorrow. But just proud of everybody on this new Terrain Ag Solution Chevy. I was melting down in the car, honestly. I'm making so many mistakes, trying so hard. I put so much pressure on myself at these races because I know what everybody expects. I know what I expect out of myself, more importantly. But it's, God, what a win! It might be one of the craziest wins I've ever had. Most mistakes ever to win a race for sure. But all the fans of Portland for staying out here. This place is packed. 16 years ago, I won this month my first Champ Car race, and it's surreal that I still get to do this. And thanks to Matt Collick, Chris Rice, all the men and women for allowing me this. Baby, I love you. Mom, my dad's here. He was here on Father's Day for my first win. So just you know what? And more importantly, can't thank ECR and RCR, everybody enough, because this thing was having so many problems yesterday engine-wise. They changed everything but the motor, fixed it, and I was the only issue in the car today.
AJ, can you break down for me the pass for the lead?
Yeah, Maya was doing an amazing job. He was really good in the wet. I got under him. We touched there. In these conditions, I knew if I could get to the lead, I could kind of dictate it. So I was fighting hard there, but Maya did a great job. He's always fast in these road courses. So fun racing, just insanity. But thank everybody at Chevy that allows us to do this. Xfinity for allowing us to do this. What a cool race. And Sparko, everybody, just everybody that's on this race car. So thank you, everybody.
Thanks and congratulations, AJ. You got a flight to catch to St. Louis for the Cup.
Yeah, AJ Allmendinger, you're going to be racing tomorrow in Gateway still, so not going to be a long celebration, despite the fact he is an Xfinity Series regular. 12th career win in the Xfinity Series for AJ Allmendinger today. Rushes to give the checkered flag to a young fan. Here's Mike Snyder.
Exit's better than I was. But everywhere else we were neck and neck, and so to me that's good hard racing. It's not like he dumped me for no reason or spun me out or anything. He just got into me a little bit. All those restarts were extremely rough. So for him just to kind of rub my door a little bit, that's racing to me. And that's what this Xfinity Series is all about. And it's so cool to be disappointed with second. With a team that's only a year and a half old, and to get a stage win. It's the first stage win, probably first top three with this car. So just can't say enough about the boys from Jordan Harrison Racing, Shane Whitbeck, Shane Martin from Chevrolet, Treetop Applesauce, Dax there, all my partners. It's a great day to be disappointed with second, but still disappointed.
A lot of positives to take away. Thank you.
No doubt, a lot to celebrate.
And AJ Allmendinger, your winner today at Portland for the Xfinity Series debut at this racetrack. And we'll go through the full field running order again. Like and subscribe on your way out for more daily NASCAR content. The second race of our doubleheader today will be a NASCAR 21 Ignition live stream at Road America. Now, the realistic commentary you see for these live races, I do for video game races during the week as well. But on the road, I brought my PlayStation. Hopefully I can get everything hooked up within the next hour, and we should be able to get that stream off and running as well. So again, thank you for everybody tuning in, though. It was a lot of fun doing this. A little different. Sorry if the commentary wasn't perfect today. I can't hear the race in my ears, so I can't relay you guys many messages for maybe handling issues or anything of that nature, or maybe replay advantages that they get that I don't see, that I can't replay it as far as that goes. And having to keep my voice down and keep it contained is a little bit different compared to what I'm used to when I'm just out home by myself. So thank you everybody for tuning in though for this live stream. We'll be back for the next live race commentary next Sunday for the Sonoma Cup race. Again, no Cup race tomorrow for live commentary because I'm at my hotel. I'll be going to Gateway, but there will be a race highlight video from the grandstands. Check out the race highlight video from the grandstands from last week's Indy 500. That is on the channel already. Again, why I didn't broadcast the Coke 600 last weekend on the channel, but back to the Cup Series live commentary races again next week at Sonoma. So thank you everybody again for tuning in. If I don't see you later today, maybe we'll see you guys next week. Thank you everybody for your appreciation and support. Road to 3,000 subs. Road to becoming a NASCAR commentator for real races down the road as well. Thank you everybody. Have a good rest of your evening. And if I see you guys later tonight as well, see you then.